So, let's start off with a little bit of. Should we quickly recap verbally what we remember then?
Yeah.
So right back to the start. Where did all of this begin?
There was a guy, there was a tiger.
We were naked.
We were naked.
And afraid.
And so were our players.
And cold.
So we were taking the test to become men and
No.
and little gnome girl.
Yeah, so you were sent out on the trial,
Yep.
which was to go and find something to hunt and kill, and which you would then drag back to town, and then that becomes your lodging. So whatever you find, the size thereof, so it then assigns your stature and your status in the tribe upon your return.
Yeah.
We were saved by the sadly departed
Hero.
hero. I forgot his name.
Yeah, well, it was just on like day one of the adventure as well.
Well, there was two of them.
Lest we forget said rope.
Yeah, the Cedric died immediately.
The actual hero.
The actual hero, yeah.
Well, you didn't die immediately because you guys had one encounter, because I wasn't there the very first day.
Yes.
You guys had
yeah.
one encounter with a person who gave you beer, I think.
Yes.
And then I caught up, and then
Nuck
those two
assaulted him
died,
because
right?
he didn't share the beer with him. So
Hey, that was really culturally insensitive.
Yeah, no, that was very deserved.
Go into a room full of people and one dwarf, and you offer everybody but the dwarf a drink.
Well, I just remember because the Yarlet was following along. So when she was trying to trace your steps, there was just this dude just.
He's lying on the floor going, I got cancelled.
just stoved and burned.
Tell you what, though.
Fucking cancel culture.
If Nuck hadn't done that, we wouldn't have taken out the wyvern because we wouldn't have had the super condensed.
This is true.
Oh, no, that was off. That was actually from Tiger Guy.
Oh, it was Tiger Guy,
yeah,
was it?
Tiger Guy was
Oh,
Tiger Guy was a traveling. He was like an alcohol merchant.
It's like the butterfly effect, isn't it?
Yeah.
The wyvern effect.
Punch everybody.
No, I think
Why did you flap his wings?
that druid was just an all-round chill guy.
You guys fucking murdered immediately.
Yeah.
Sorry, what? I was talking over you.
No, that's it. So that was the first day. You killed the druid in. Well, let's not say cold blood, but
Cold beer.
in cold beer. Yeah. So then Yarlet set off a day later.
Yep.
What did we say the reason was that you? Did you just forget that it was?
Yeah, I overslept.
Story right in
Oh,
front
because you were outside town hiding
Yeah,
your
hiding my book and be like, I have to make sure I don't do any magic and don't stand out, and then I stood out the most by being fucking late.
Yeah, because you showed up at the gate.
They literally stripped me, poured a bucket over my head, and kicked me out. Go find them.
And you had like a full day of tramping through the rain trying to find these guys.
Yeah.
Following the trail of blood and beer.
Yeah. And then we came down on the slats. Those two idiots died. I summoned Fire Guy for the first time, and
Who was it?
Run and Din were truly mystified.
Well, it was Setrot and Butu were the two who died, yeah.
Fuck 'em.
Because Nuck was like, okay, when I say okay, we're all going to jump out and charge them.
Pranked!
What were they? They were like giant hyena or something.
Yeah,
They were giant hyenas, yes.
Wait,
that's it.
like if we met them now, we'd mop the floor with them. But back in the days of level 1, it was terrifying.
Yeah, you would have been very dead.
And then they got hung, they got full and went away.
Yep.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, so because that's when you guys were hidden in a crack in the ground.
Yeah.
And that's when Yarlet, you cast like a stone over yourself, and, and Nuck had to squeeze in with you, and so his naked ass was just pressed against the side of your face.
Sounds about right.
So then after that, and you remember what the. So it was the journey to Niln's Rise. So between there was several encounters between there, none of which with any real relevance. You fought some spiders, I think,
Spiders, yeah.
a giant
Griffin.
goat.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't we fight a griffin?
No, I don't think so. No, you fought vultures.
Right.
So
I think
that's
we
where I
were
learned.
trying to hunt a griffin.
That's
Did
where I
we
learned.
save any shit from the goat?
No, I don't think so.
Sorry.
But that's where you got your first round of equipment, was from the vulture. So you had like a vulture war pick.
Yeah,
I think Din had some vulture armor made out of the rib cage, and
And I've got a feather dress and feather headdress from it.
yes, that's it.
The important thing.
Yeah.
So then,
Gotta have my style.
so then you reached. So let me pull up the map actually. Then you reached.
Walking around like you were in the middle of a burlesque show.
If Bumpkey shows up, all right, I gotta be ready.
So you travelled down. So you then reached the Towel Bar,
yeah.
where your plan was to hunt giant crocodiles.
Yeah.
And you
Not got
found one
We did, yeah.
when it jumped out of the water and tried dragging him in.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got croc teeth.
Yeah, you got croc teeth. Didn't save Nuck. Nuck carved a horn out of one. I'm guessing it was one of the giant crocodile teeth. It must have been out of. Or was it out of a ram horn?
Oh,
no,
yeah,
it was a ram
yeah.
horn. It was after you killed the ram, you carved it out of that.
Says what?
So then you climbed the Niln's Rise, and then you came across some dragon cultists.
Yeah.
Bitches.
Some embarrassing,
Some embarrassing brother.
feeble cultists.
So you remember what happens from? So once you found the dragon cultist, remember what happened after that?
He was a bitch.
We lost a brother.
I lost all respect for my
Yeah.
brother. I thought
We
he
see
was
the
cool.
dragon. We punted a dude into the webs.
And we found out that owls was real
Yeah.
and had nightmares for most days since, I'm sure.
That's fine.
Still don't think I'll.
And we blew up a bunch of spiders.
We
You did, yeah. So you escaped Owl's Cave you found its like nesting site where all of the baby owls were, and you rolled some oil into it, set it
Nuked
afire, and then ran whilst Owls was distracted.
And then I got punched in the face.
Yes, and so then you got punched in the face.
Hashtag blessed.
Yeah, hashtag blessed. So remember what happened after Niln's Rise? So after you escaped Owls?
Oh. Well, we obviously had the dragon with us.
Mm-hmm.
So we were trying to take him back towards the city, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so you came back down the
Close to
mountain. So
the
that was your second encounter then, I think, with Burnt Faced Man, was it after you'd first escaped with the dragon?
Sounds about right.
Nemesis.
And then they were like, I don't think we got in a fight with them then. They were just like, we need food and warmth. No, we gave them fire, didn't we?
Yes, see, so the first time you met them, you shared a fire with them. The second time, I feel like you wrecked some of them, and I think you actually attacked them the second time, and he ran away.
Yeah.
Because the third time you met him was at Touching Tips Pass when he came back for vengeance. So
Yeah, I thought there were 3 times.
What?
That
yeah,
was
3 times.
pretty-
The first time we've already actually passed. You met him on the very first night when Yarlet joined you, and when you were camped around the fire, and they showed up.
Yeah.
You identified who they are, and the first time was perfectly amicable. You shared a fire with, and you gave them some vulture meat. And then after that, the second time you met them was when you freshly acquired the dragon, and you threw a blanket over it, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Why did we attack them? Were they eyeing up the dragon?
Yes, they were. So they were eyeing up the dragon. So I think there was probably 4 encounters because you saw them at that point, and then later you found out that they were
Yeah.
following you.
Because the second time we were trying to like obscure the dragon from them.
Yes.
I don't
Yeah.
think we came to blows then.
No, you
But
didn't.
then there was another time where the dragon ran away from us
Yeah,
and
right.
then
Yes.
encountered them.
Yes, that's it. So that's after the giant snake. So that was just after Nil's Rise. So that's basically where we've got the recap as well. So when just after the wyvern. So it's just after the wyvern fight because the dragon ran away when the wyvern showed up.
The wyvern fight was epic, and carrying it back was not so epic. Bundled the meat into the skin, dragged it, basically rolled it like a dung beetle ball. Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's when you went into. So you ended up in Carrion Crawler territory, just south of the Tower Bar here. So just down here.
yeah, we wrapped the snakeskin around it, didn't we?
Yeah, and then dragged
Use it
it.
as like a makeshift.
Yeah, so you had the
sled.
2 dragons at the front dragging it. So then you went through sort of Carrion Crawler territory. So there's this area south of the Tower Bar where there's all these big dips in the ground.
Yeah.
You fought some Carrion Crawlers briefly there, and that's when your love for the dragon was slowly fading. As I think that was probably the 3rd encounter that he attempted to just run away from.
Yep.
Honestly.
Then you kind of
I
travelled
hope he
through.
dies.
No wonder they're
Fuck
going
that
to
dragon.
idiots.
So then you travelled through the Carrion Crawler territory, and then discovered during there that you were being pursued by the cultists again.
Yeah.
They came back a second time.
Then we went to Yarlet's cafe to avoid them.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Cafe.
Yes, that's it. So that was
Yeah, like
that was
a
after you got
coffee
attacked
shop.
by hyenas again. So that was actually a second encounter with hyenas. You fought them there, and that's where Yarlet nearly died.
And I truly lost all respect for the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
What did we teleport to?
No, you just
No,
fought
the
off the hyenas, and then you just hid in Yarlet's. Yarlet's got her cafe that she summons
yeah.
with rope trick.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so you all hid in there.
Rogue tricks are just the fucking greatest. The best spell.
So then after that, so you eluded the cultists for a bit and then decided to set up a trap for them,
Yeah.
and which you did at Touching Tips Pass.
That one was like a rout. We like shit on him.
Yes.
I think I remember.
You did.
And then
yeah.
it only went badly because two of us are doing rock paper scissors over the dice, and that just goes
Yeah.
No regrets.
fucking idiot. No regrets. He says dead. Like
Or is he?
he's fucking dead.
We
I
never
got
found-
his liver. That dude's fucking dead. You can't walk around without a liver. That's one of the organs you kind of need to live.
For sure he's got, if he's survived, he got yours.
No, I have two.
Oh.
Do you?
Yes. Because the point is the dwarf liver doesn't fit because I have another liver in there.
Well, it would also
So-
be like twice the size of your normal one.
I
Also
guess,
really
but-
alcoholic.
At this point, I've learned that I can outdrink everybody because I have two livers.
Yeah,
Well,
One of them's very
Yeah,
experienced.
there's some inkling
Yeah.
that maybe not, because you tasted alcohol and it would taste. We did have that you drank some alcohol and it tasted like water. There was no taste to it, which is a carryover from
sobriety.
Nuck's illness, the sobriety.
Oh, right.
I forget what the rest of the symptoms for that were.
It's basically slowly encroaching madness.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Sobriety.
I think I missed something here.
Yeah. So yes, dwarves who lose their taste for alcohol and then slowly go insane.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, but it's just because they're dwarves, right?
Yes,
So
yeah.
I'm not gonna go mad. I just can't taste alcohol, I guess.
Yeah. You're like 1% dwarf now.
So you escaped that by Yarlet spending a shitload of inspiration to teleport you guys up to the Nilnwood,
Yep.
where you encountered Weiss for the first time, who saved you guys from a load of Kenkus.
Well, she was just hunting kenkus on her own.
Yeah.
Couldn't help them because they were on their trial, but she definitely like engaged them first and slaughtered them.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, because you knew full well you weren't supposed to be helping.
Yeah.
You just happened to be hunting the same prey at the time.
Got me a bag full of kenku feathers.
What happened post that?
I imagine sooner or later we dragged our wyvern and snake back to the town.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, you arrived to town. So we sent Castle Row
hero's welcome.
ahead to warn them.
Wyvern.
Yeah.
Wyvern.
So you arrived home to a parade.
Yeah.
Of Ogul celebrating Butu's triumphant return.
And then convinced her that Butu died a hero.
Yeah. Where's
Do you want to do the impression again, Matt?
I did not.
It's immortalized on YouTube. It's okay.
We're on YouTube. I'll get cancelled for that one.
It's a different year now, guys. Come
Yeah.
on.
It's 2023. I can't do that impression.
So then what happened there? So once you were back in town,
We certainly hid the dragon,
Mhm.
had a chat with our father,
Mhm.
told him about the dragon. Then the trials, or like, you guys went and became chieftains and all that sort of thing.
yeah, so you took your positions in the tribe. Partway through that was the Bone Devil returning,
Yep.
crashing in through the ceiling of the Wyvern tent,
It's pretty epic.
and rallying the members of the tribe to down it.
Ooh, meat shields.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say to die for us while we hit it from afar.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, you managed to worm it out by convincing the tribe that Chaka, I think was the name of the
Old lady.
the old lady, yeah, Chaka, who was the shaman and spiritual leader of the tribe that you convinced was the one who actually brought the Bone Devil there.
Illuminatus! And everyone believed it.
So then what happened after that?
Did happen. There was
That's
a
when
bunch
I
of
get
like
little hazy.
conspiring against Ogul, communicating with my moms.
Well, you straight killed Ogul at the end of your trial. So Din finished his fight by knocking Kadak out, but you just beheaded Ogul.
But that wasn't straight away, was it? Because there was
Yeah,
like,
there was a
this
break.
whole-
There was a break between. We did ours first.
Yeah.
Then there
Yes.
was a break during which you maybe or maybe not fucked Ogul. Who can
knows?
say?
Who
And
knows?
then you beheaded her.
Yeah.
And Din was like, "You win some, you lose some."
Yeah.
Hey, don't be so sure of the order of events there.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
So yeah, so while you made Din invisible when some emissaries showed up at town,
Yep.
and then Din discovered the conspiring Kadak and the remainder of the orcs in the tribe planning to retake over. you stopped that out, and one of them did escape. Mongol Jin was her name. Got down here as Tanner and Lover of Knives, a full-blooded orc.
Oh great, the one with the knives got away.
Yeah, she escaped.
God damn
So she ran off into the woods, and you weren't able to finish her. But all of the others, Kadak included, were slain.
Right.
And I think that's when
Wait.
you were.
What happened to the one that I saved? Did he go?
You
No.
fucking killed him.
Yeah, I think you still killed him, didn't you?
I remember.
Yeah, you saved him, and you're like, "Oh, we saved him," and we're like, "No."
I feel like I
Yeah.
put him down and he ran, and
Oh,
then
no,
he
yes.
was angry at me. So
Yeah, no, he did. You're right. So
Yeah.
2 of them got away. Yeah, because Shat got away as well.
Did he?
Yeah, I
thought
think he
I
did.
could've
Yeah,
sworn we killed them
yeah.
both.
I think
Yes,
Shat. I think Shat and Mongol Jin both got away.
Okay.
You haven't saved me yet. Don't push it.
So yeah, you return back to the tribe. Somewhere in all of this, Okul got her head lopped off, and Weiss became the new chief.
These things happen.
yeah,
This is the way.
yeah. So we reinstated magic. We voted on it before fighting Ogul, got the overriding vote, and then slaughtered her.
Mm-hmm. And then, so I think after that was you discovering.
Really rigged the fucking election there.
Yeah.
Like,
Pretty genius.
I think after that was you discovering the conspiracy of your 2 mothers.
Republicans
So
heard
there
our
was Yuzenta.
podcast. Like, Jesus, that's a good idea.
So Meryl, you had your 2 adopted mothers, Meryl and Yuzentai. Meryl was the one who does all the poisons, and Yuzentai was the bird keeper who had all the ravens.
Yeah.
Yuzentai got called out to the forest. You saw her conversing with a mysterious man with a briefcase who disappeared before you could get any closer. Upon meeting her, she admitted to you that she had been poisoning you in order to gain. They'd been poisoning you in order to gain favour with Thrax. You swiftly killed her upon that point. And then when you returned back to town, your other mother, Meryl, was nowhere to be found.
Interesting.
betrayed by your own mothers.
Yeah.
Which one was Meryl? Sorry, the poison one.
Meryl's the poison one. Yeah, Yuzuntai was the
Okay.
bird lady.
So Yuzentai was the really cold one. Meryl was the more loving one.
No, it was the other way around. Yuzuntai was you
Oh.
killed the really loving one.
Oh.
Because she was apologising profusely,
Whoops.
and admitted what she did, but you killed her in rage.
Yeah.
And then when you got back to try and find Meryl, she was already long gone.
To be fair, poisoning's not the biggest sign of a loving parent.
No.
No.
Oh, not really.
No.
Yeah.
So
get
on the way back as well, you also received you had, I seem to remember, Castle Row coughing up for like a ticketed like a fax machine. He coughed up a piece of paper that said "Take the dragon to the tower."
Oh, okay. I completely forgot about that. That's another quest.
So
Yeah.
many quests.
And then-
Oh, then
Tower
my-
of Fraps.
And my god abandoned me.
Yes, so
I
then
think you're
yes.
gonna have a hard time convincing some
Yeah, so-
other people to
so
give
yeah,
up the
so
dragon.
So yeah, after you killed the only other champion in town, Kadak. So Kadak was also one of Udo's champions, and you straight murdered him.
Yeah.
And then that's when you lost your powers.
Playing favourites there, isn't he?
It's a bit petty, this Udo.
You killed my favorite son. Oh, fuck you too, Dad.
So then upon returning to town, you guys learnt of, Jarly shared with you that he had heard rumours that there are still golden dragons alive somewhere, taken prisoner by the silver dragons at the end of the war. And he instructed you to go and find a silver dragon princess who had been taken prison in Port Shudong. And in order to try and get some information about where your people might be discovered. Then the only other thing I think was Yarlet, when a caravan full of your possessions rolled into town.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And you found the gold orb that you made for
And then I had a
Bumpy
dream
Troll.
about Bumpy Show.
Yeah, the second
He's
you touched it.
alive on a tree like Jesus. Like,
Yeah, so upon touching it, you were teleported to the hillside where she died, and briefly saw her before being pulled straight back.
my lust rises once more.
And I think that's largely it. So I think when we left it, you guys were trying to decide where to go, and going to come up with some sort of show of force in order to get people not to mess with Shagger, who you were going to leave in charge in your
Right.
absence. So I think what I'd like to do to start off is I actually think we will, as opposed to sort of dealing with all of that, we're going to time skip forward a bit. We'll make all the decisions in terms of where you're going to go and what you're going to do in the show of power, but we'll jump back in with you on the road,
Okay.
wherever it is you're heading, as opposed to going through all of the minutiae of that.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
So, from what I can tell, your choices of places to go would be: so you need to try and find healing for Yarlet.
Yeah.
Weiss has some interests at the tower.
Yeah.
Yarlet has some interests over on the hill to the south of Affa, where she was transported during her vision, where she saw Bumpy Trill. And you guys have got business in Port Shudong looking for
Searching
the
for
Silver Dragon.
a book, aren't I?
Yes, you've also got to go back to Affa to get your book that you learned your necromancy spells from, or that you were using to research necromancy when you had your mishap with your little brother.
Yep.
What was my abandoned task?
Back
from
by
Udo?
totally not.
So you were instructed to go to the Sacred Grounds, which is this island over to the east, and remove the tribute. You found out later. I forget who you were speaking to. I think it might have actually been Johnny who you were talking to, and you actually found the details of that. So the tribute is that the Queen of Last Haven, whose name I think is Borosai, I can't remember her name right now, but the Queen of Last Haven is currently staying in the Sacred Grounds in the temple of Kuwai, or Kuwai, however you want to pronounce it. Yeah, Kuwai. And that's what's keeping currently the Orcish hordes away. So nobody can cross the water without her blessing, and that's because the Queen is currently staying there eternally. So your mission was to go and remove the Queen in order to allow the Orcish horde to cross the water to Last Haven.
Okay. Could just go on a holiday over to Last Haven, just be like, hey, just so you know, God wants you dead.
Around here.
Sucks to suck. So, any ideas where you guys would fancy going first, or should we sort out the show of power first? That seems like the easier decision. So, what would you guys do in order to secure Shaggy's place and get nobody to mess with him?
I mean, we've
in
already
absence?
smashed a rebellion,
Mm-hmm.
so that's pretty good in our favour.
Arm wrestles?
Arm
I was
wrestles.
going to say a mandatory tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a bracket for the entire place,
Mm-hmm.
and just see where people come out.
Okay, yeah, because then we can rig it with. Well, not just for
our man can win it.
Yeah,
but
that's what I was
not
gonna
with
say.
us.
But not just to help him win, but like we can use since three of us can use like bless or magic spells, we subtly cheat to make it look like Shaga's way stronger than he actually is.
Oh, so you have somebody challenge him for his seat, you mean?
Or even like if
we
like
could,
a tournament,
we
like
could
you were
even
saying,
say it's to see who's in charge while we're gone.
oh yeah,
Rather than saying, oh, we're giving it to him because he's second.
So you're
Smart.
gonna rig it in Shaggy's favour.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
Okay.
make him look more powerful.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. That works. So we won't go into the details of it, but by some combination of the magical users, you're going to rig a tournament so that Shagga just looks like an absolute badass.
I bless him and then I catch a stray boot in the face or something.
Yeah. Oh, so you have Shagga fight you in the tournament?
No, I'm just in the crowd.
Just have Shagga actually become the chief.
This is pretty funny actually.
Okay. So then, where do you guys want to head first then? So what of your priorities? Which one do you think is going to come out on top? So you've got to try and find some sort of magical healing for Yarlet.
So that would be at Southfell, would it be?
So
Yeah, well, the only complication with Southfell is obviously that the two golden dragons wouldn't exactly be able to wander in, so you would have to wait outside of town or risk encountering the guards and seeing how that turns out.
What's Sappho? Like a nice happy
This
place?
is the capital. Southfell's just the capital, so it's one of the two cities in the north of the council. So you've got Southfell and
like the
Northfell.
Shire.
Yeah, Affa's like the Shire. Cute little city.
Which is why I was banished.
So you need to try and go
Your
somewhere
tactic.
for some high level magical healing, preferably somewhere where they're not going to murder the dragons on sight.
I suppose perhaps be more likely. They
No, no, he would not.
might do
There seems to be some confusion about the God of Chaos being anything other than random bullshit. For the record,
three
terrible
errors.
idea overall. Never go to that tower.
So with the 10 inspiration, should we say like a healer came down with a convoy from the thingy, and he was able to heal up Smithy's thing, but not.
Yeah, well, I think you wanted
Remove
it to be that you that healed him, didn't you? So, and we could say that you just expended a lot of time and magic in healing him.
Oh yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody else who did it. I think that Weiss would be the one healing Din of his ailment. How do you think that would look if it was Weiss who was doing it? It would take a long period of time to do it. It's not something you can just sort of do and clap your hands and
Yeah.
it be done. I think because it's well outside of your skill level, it'd be sort of like a couple of weeks effort in order to heal him.
Like maybe with a combination of like some of the medicinal stuff that one of the mothers left behind,
Mm-hmm.
and then I essentially curse him into having good health.
So you use like dark magic backwards, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, yeah, because he has like he had like his internal injuries, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
That's funny.
that works. Happy with
curse
that?
you with
So
rapid
how
cellular
willing was that? So Din was very
What?
angry with Whis. How would the actual conversation between you two have gone? How would you have come to reach that agreement? Would you have even done it with Din's knowledge? Would you have done it while
I
he
was
was
gonna say,
sleeping?
Din would think, why should I trust you?
I can imagine that we're like having a conversation about it, and you're just sort of like, no, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do that. And it's like, Weiss is like, what if I turn you invisible for an hour, like 3 times a week?
just see Ogul's disembodied head just floating in the air.
Jesus Christ.
No, I just
Yeah,
think him walking around and like floating around going, my name's Ogu. Oh, I'm haunting you. As opposed to the other thing.
I was shitty. Filled head. I'm Domino's.
Yeah, that sounds better than my health. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's just
No, no,
in return for invisibility whenever you want it.
Yeah.
You agreed to let Weiss try to heal you, and so after several weeks of effort, and you said so sort of medicinal from Maril and Yuzentai,
Yeah.
combination of magic, because you did some healing I remember before on, I think it was Yarlet.
No.
Where you shoved, it might have been Run actually. I remember you shoving a load of mud and feathers
Feathers,
into
yeah.
somebody's wounds in order to triage.
Hey. I'm basically a shaman, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
So then, where would you go? So that with that sorted, and so you're going to get rig a tournament to make everybody convinced that Shagger's an enormous badass who shouldn't be messed with.
Hey, Shagger is an enormous badass that shouldn't be messed with.
Yeah.
When he wins, he says Shagger by name. And then he fetches Ogul's head.
We come back and he's just so full of himself. He's got like sunglasses. He's like, "Hey, it's me, the chief." Like,
So then, yeah, in terms of magical healing, the only places you really can go would be the college up in Eastfell. You might have some luck in Quindao over to the east, which is where the sort of hyper-religious people and the sort of like the sun worshippers, but they would have healers there. Tower of Frax, you could try. There's certainly there's certainly a lot of magic there.
I think Run might be a bit more sensible than Din, but Din would not be put off. You probably wouldn't either be put off by going into a town.
Do we know about the conditions to find the tower?
I think you do. I think somebody did tell you that you need to be led there by somebody who already knows where it is.
Yeah, that's a problem.
So you'd have to locate somebody who could take you to the tower. So somebody who's already been there.
I was talking about the town, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the town. I see.
Yeah.
You mean Quindao? Yeah.
We wouldn't. Oh, I wouldn't. Wouldn't be bothered about commoners.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, but then we've only ever stayed in the like in our little tribe area.
Yeah.
you are aware, like you both were told by your father that golden dragons are like not
Yeah.
kosher. But also
Yeah.
just wear hoods. Just wear big hoods.
Just
Easy.
stove anyone
Well, yeah. So
that
that's the other
cares.
option is you could try and find some way to disguise yourselves.
Make some masks.
I say, like,
We could stand on top of each other's
I
shoulders
say, just
in
go.
a big
Let's
trench
go
coat.
to.
Yeah.
Or you
Let's go
could
to the college.
you could paint yourself silver if you could find some
Yeah.
way of doing it.
We could, but also didn't.
Fucking black facing his
Yeah.
dragon.
Silver face and not a night now.
Silver
You're
scaling.
gonna bring out the old lordy again soon.
How was Matt Silver Dragon received beforehand?
So they're seen as
They're
like
okay.
they're seen as the polar opposite of you. So
They're like heroes.
Yeah, they're heroes. So the Great War that sort of wiped out everybody and left us with just this little pocket
This
of
is a metaphor,
life that
isn't
we're in
it?
at the
Yeah.
moment was caused by the war between the gold and the silver dragons.
Yes, it was.
With the gold
Really.
dragons along with the elves wanting to basically enslave all of humanity, and the silver dragons along with the rest of civilization fighting them off. So silver dragons are very much seen as saviors, and they sort of disappeared off into their mountains. So yeah, Akra would have been received as a initially as sort of like, you know, people held with great reverence. So
Yeah. That's not actually a bad idea.
Why did I get the worst fucking party of all time, then? Aggro was like, the only 4 people on the continent who didn't like silver dragons. Really got the raw end of the deal there. But I say go towards the college, because it's the first one on the way. Like, because we have to go north either way. Like, I know Qingdao is to the northwest, but if we go northeast to the college, if that doesn't work out, then we just go straight over to Qingdao, and then we can go down from there.
Yeah.
And avoid the Nilnwood and avoid the tower, because that sounds like a fucking miserable idea.
Will we have something to trade for the healing? So I'm assuming they're not just going to do it for free.
You don't
A
know,
fucking fireball in their face, how about that?
so you could take something, yeah. I don't know what you've got to trade.
A lack of macing, maybe?
What about taking something from the town? Because, I mean, you are the chieftains. Could you take something that would be... It might be useful.
This place is a shithole, there ain't nothing here.
Bring them Ogle's head.
We have an extra magical item
Mm-hmm.
because we've got 2 swords that are both +1.
That's true.
You got the contents of Maryl's workshop as well, which was all of the arcane things that she was using to try and make poisons, and she was attempting to make scrolls as well. So you've got all of the arcane materials and some reagents from there.
Yeah, I have some scrolls, I know.
Yeah, you took some scrolls, and there's all of the reagents that she used to make incredibly advanced poisons and potions. So there's all of that stuff as well you could take with you.
Didn't we trade some? Because you could make some spells and I could make other ones.
Yeah, we
remember.
traded some. Now I have 3 magic missile spells or scrolls and 2 healing scrolls.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, selling the knowledge of those advanced poisons could be a theory.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
You can always trade for trade. Like, you're going to Southfell, which is sort of like the trading, like one of the 2 trading hubs of the entire place. So even if you don't have what you need already, you could always trade for something that you think the wizards may be more interested in.
Yeah.
Just remind me, Northfell is that's like the elite, right?
Yes, so Northfell is the sort of upper class. So the council, the 2-foot cities that form the council, are basically divided by a large cliff face. So there's a huge cliff that runs through the centre of the town. The people up on the high are the upper classes and the nobles, and then crammed into the larger southern city are all of the traders and common folk.
Based on Cleveland, is it?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it sounds like we could probably do since we're on the main road, kind of, if we loaded up a wagon and with like all of the arcane stuff and then went north, then we could use all of that to trade.
Yeah.
That seems like the quickest thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good to me.
But then where to go after that, I guess it would make sense to go to Qingdao then if we want to do that, but it means that your romance for Bumpy Drill gets put on the back burner.
No way.
Well, I mean, we have to... It's a huge long way to Alpha anyway, and going through the Nilnwood is just the dumbest idea ever. Like, even if I wanted to go straight to Alpha, I would not go through the Nilnwood. That's a surefire way to end up dead. So, I mean, this is fine. This way we can go College, Qingdao, Alpha.
Or we'll go to Port Judon about the Silver Dragon as well.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
get down.
Have we unlocked quick travel locations?
I've not, no.
yet.
Is that the plan? So you're going to head north to Southfell. So what are you guys doing in terms of shielding yourselves?
I say disguises. Right?
Disguises is a good idea.
Gloves and masks.
So you just throw a sheet over yourselves, or is Din just going to waltz out?
Din's not hiding.
Okay.
Then we can't go to the...
Okay. Do I know...
Do you guys...
Just-
I know minor illusion. Can I use that to make them silver?
No, it has to be static for minor illusion.
Fuck.
do you guys
Is
know
it
anything
specifically is it disguise person or disguise? Is it only
There's
disguise
disguise
self?
self, which is
Is like that, but I don't think.
yourself.
Yeah.
Is there a disguise?
I'll wear some nice robes. I'm not going to pose as a silver dragon.
What about robes and a mask?
What kind of mask?
A cool dragon mask.
Oh, yes, please.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'll wear a golden dragon's mask.
This is the face of my enemies.
No, they're just dressed as Nazis. They're not actually.
So
We have to wait. We have to wait till.
Get him a nice armband with that.
We have to wait.
Swastikas are ironic.
We have to wait till Halloween, and
Right.
then we can go in.
So you guys are just going to sort of shroud yourselves in sort of cloaks.
Yeah.
This doesn't sound like a good idea. Well, I haven't yet come up with a better idea, but the disguises, cloaks, a mask. they had some terrible disfigurement
Yeah.
out in the trial. They could say that about us.
Just say I had terrible burnt affliction.
Yeah, but
And,
we are
ashamed.
burnt-faced men.
Yeah.
Um,
We somehow got a matching injury.
and we also have scales, but obviously they won't be seen.
We were conjoined, and when they separated us from the face, we lost half a face each.
Christ alive.
So you're like incredibly sensitive to sunlight, are you sort of saying? Is that
Yeah. And like ashamed of.
Yeah, with the horrible disfigurement.
Yeah, it's like
underneath.
deeply offensive to take our mask off. We're not going to do it.
The
Okay.
dragon
So,
of
so
the
what do these look
opera.
like? So you've got free reign to kind of design what these shrouds and masks look like. What do you think they would look like?
Oh, imagination.
Run doesn't know any gods as yet. He's never been that interested in the gods. So I'm just...
Just a Kyle Domino's pizza box.
I just wear a ghoul's head.
Me orc. Me love food
Well,
too.
disguising as an orc wouldn't be much better.
No, we
Dylan
wouldn't.
would probably give himself pigtails. After
Oh,
the
yeah.
Arlet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just get sit on your head like the cloak goes all the way up.
Yeah.
Like little
Oh,
rascals.
yeah. You did a stack of people. You're just one tall person with Yarlet's tiny little head on top.
Bring me to your leader. I am 20 foot tall.
How tall is Arden and Run? They're tall, right?
Yeah, they're
like,
big.
They're like,
Yeah.
I was gonna say they're like 7.5 feet.
I wonder if you got it on there.
I'll only add like 3 feet.
Yeah,
Fucking tiny.
Have
I
you got
don't
it on
think
there?
they're.
There's height on the details. I think you.
I don't think I
I
wrote
don't think
mine
they're
on
much
now.
taller than humans. I think it's sort of like 7-foot-ish.
Yeah.
I didn't write it on there.
No. I think we've described you guys as massive up and like you were able to drag the wyvern back between the two of you. So
Yeah.
we've established that you're larger than humans.
Yeah.
7.5. I'd say 7.5.
Somewhere in that region, and
8-ish.
quite a lot broader.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Like you're very stocky.
Yes. I remember.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Girthy, some would say. Extraordinarily thick.
Okay, so we
I
can.
imagine. Yeah. Something the mask would be. It looks somewhat arachnid.
Oh yeah.
I agree.
Ooh.
Sort of
Like
inspired by
eyes.
owls, you think?
Yes.
Lots of eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? That'd be cool. Yeah.
That's creepy.
Oh,
So
nice.
inspired
Okay.
by owls with a cup of ice. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So is the aim with that slightly as well to like get people just not to question the mask? Like if you see a dude with a big carved spider face,
Yeah.
you're probably gonna keep a fairly wide berth on them.
Absolutely.
It's not like a fun. What are you dressed as? Ooh.
Yeah.
That's not very
That's a cute
inviting.
costume.
Yeah, it's like, fuck, but it's not illegal.
There's only one thing worse than seeing that.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. What material are you thinking these masks are made out of?
Oh. Well, what would be available to us apart from wood?
So like wood. It'd have to be like wood carved stone,
Can't put that there. It's too
leather.
tempting.
Okay. So I think. Leather would. Yeah, leather.
Yeah.
Leather.
I think of Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw.
Leatherface with
BDSM.
eyes.
So yes, you got like leather spider masks on your face. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I
Okay.
like that.
Sweet. Okay. Cool.
I want one too.
Yeah. Why not?
So we have-
To wear or?
I don't know.
Do you have
A lot of
all the
interesting
eight
places in the
pencils
city.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm gonna write this down.
I guess I better fucking get one too then.
Yeah. You can all travel together if you want. So you can.
Thank you.
So are you guys posing as some sort of troop or some sort of? If you're all wearing these spider
Oh
masks,
boy, let's be a troop.
are you posing as something?
Is it less weird if we all wear it?
Yeah, probably.
It draws less attention to the.
Well, yeah, because then the other
Ultimate.
advantage is one of you can just take your mask off.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially like me, if they see me wearing it. I'm obviously not a fucking golden dragon,
But
I'm
then-
tiny, so.
We need a name and we need like a purpose.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what would those two things be? Why do you all wear spider masks?
Spreading the news
'Cause we
that
got-
owls
The myth of
wear-
owls!
Because we have 8 legs between us.
Oh! Poggers!
I would definitely be up for the spreading the truth of ours.
The myth of it.
Yeah.
The legend of owls.
We can
Nice.
show our
He
brother what
creeps
a
in the
real
night.
fucking
We'd be
cult
like doomsdayers.
is.
Yeah.
Oh, we're owls doomsayers.
Owls is coming.
Baby.
Owls is coming. A swarm of owls will watch.
He's coming! He's coming!
Get the dominoes.
Oh, so much web!
You'll all drown in the golden web.
Nice, I like
He
it.
webbed all over Niln's rise, and now he'll web on you.
We're just on the street corner shouting that all day. And he unleash a mighty web!
So that's probably why people give you quite a wide bearing as
Yes,
well.
Absolutely.
It's like Brooklyn Nine-Nine joke where he's trying to like avoid attention, so he dresses as a charity hawker. And he's like, no one's looking at me now.
Perfect. All you need to do to get people to avoid you is act like 4 Alex Jones is walking down the sidewalk. Turn the freaking spiders gay! Everyone's just like, just ignore him.
He'll go away soon.
We're part of the Spooder cult. Oh no, the Scorpion cult.
Scorpion. Scorpion.
Part of the Scorpion.
There you go. Canon.
And Owls is the Scorpion king.
Yeah, well.
Al's Doomstairs. I like this. This is a great plan. This is a foolproof plan.
Nice. Okay, so you guys are travelling with a wagon full of all of your tradables, which is a combination of just general things. So I'll allow you to sort of retcon the things that are in the
Okay.
wagon. We don't need to think of all of them now, but included in that is the supplies from Maryl's. And was there something else we
My
said?
orb.
And then your orb.
And the dragon, probably.
Yeah, and the dragon probably in there as well.
Are we taking the dragon with us? I thought we were leaving him with Jarly.
No,
I'm not fucking
no,
trusting.
Johnny did say anyone with the dragon. That he didn't see any way that the dragon could stay, so the dragon is in tow.
Oh.
So yeah, in the wagon.
This time a blanket will work. You just throw it over the whole cart. Because then it's like a bunch of shit. Like we're doomsayers. Don't touch our shit. Doom will come on you.
Well, it
Just
can
give him a
actually.
mask as well.
Well, it can be. It can be. You have.
Put some legs, yeah.
Oh yeah. So one of the things that we said before is obviously that Tai Cheng is it's a regular sort of trading stop because people with caravans will regularly make the journey from the council down to Coppertown via the road that runs to the gravel field, and they will call into Tai Cheng on the way in order to purchase protection for their trip. So all manner of carts and wagons will cart through. So there's no reason why you couldn't actually have like a sealed sort of, see, when you're in sort of like an Eastern setting, you could have like one of those like actually sealed caravans that has like a pitched roof and like, you know, curtains.
Good idea.
So a fairly ornate caravan that you sort of adorned with all this spider paraphernalia.
Cool. I like it.
Some spooky shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, cool, like it. Sweet, so I think that sounds like a plan. So does
Closest
anyone...
one we're gonna get. Let's be fair.
resembles a plan. So, if anybody, unless anybody wants to take a last minute toilet break, we can kick in, I think.
Let's go.
I'm good to go.
Nice, okay, so we may as well kick off. I've actually got... how are we going to do this? Because I have actually got...
It takes like 5 minutes and you're like, oh shit, okay.
Because I've got, actually, I'm going to kick this off, so... Before we kick into the credits game for the first time, I made this 2 years ago, I think.
Ooh, a new opening.
So I redid the opening finally.
Oh
You
man.
have some unlisted songs on your channel.
So are we starting or?
I will do it next time, because I just want to show off the...
Actually, we won't sing over it either.
So many characters. So many deaths.
Only one. Yeah.
Oh, the
Peter.
bottle in his beard is good. Nothing else.
No deaths, baby.
Yeah, featured.
And Brad Pitt as. Nice. That was really good.
Very nice.
So I think what we'll actually do is we'll do a double opening for the season opening. So I'd like to do a cold open as well.
Ooh, nice.
So I think where we come back in. So after the credits roll for the first time and with the shiny new image sequence, let me find some ambience to go over this. I need. What's it says in IT Crowd? Is it bloody wistful? In the D&D episode of IT Crowd.
Oh, I can't remember that.
Let me quickly find some ambience to stick on. This will do actually. Just stick this on. So I think where we open up, so the credits fade, and as they finish, we come up on a cold open, and the camera starts pointed at the sky, and we see that grey clouds are swirling around, and just peeking between the gaps, you occasionally see a black sky above. Grey ashy snow gently floats through the air. And as the camera pounds down, we see off to the east the Nilnwood, and just in the bottom frame, Affa slowly rises into view. And the camera continues to pan down, and atop a grassy hill, we see the wilted remains of a dead tree. Bumpy Trill. You've lost track of the days. You look down at the scars on your body, underneath the black chains that lash you to the tree. They've long since scabbed over and healed. You know it's pointless to strain against them. Your breath freezes in the air before your face, but you don't feel cold. Occasionally shadow figures will pass nearby, but they pay you no attention. A few days ago, you could swear you saw Yarlet appear before you. She appeared atop the hill about 10 paces away, with a gold orb in her hands. You called out to her, but she disappeared as quickly as she appeared. Since then, you can occasionally hear her voice on the breeze. What do you do?
Continue shouting for Yarlet.
Okay, roll a flat d20 for me, please.
That's a 3.
Okay, so no response. So you probably again, like, the time has lost all meaning to you at this point. That you haven't slept. You've attempted to in the past, but sleep escapes you. You feel like there's day and night in this place where you are, but they're hard to differentiate from one another. And you've long since lost track of any sort of time.
I'm aware that I can't get out of my chains.
You can't know, so you've struggled against them, and there's no way ahead. You occasionally hear noises coming from the woods, terrible wails and screams of some unknown beasts in the distance. You caught glimpses of shapes across the tree line in the woods to the east, but never got a good look at any of them, and none of them ever leave the shade of the forest.
Wasn't prepared for Bumpy Trail.
Anything else you might try over the course of? I think that the time period we're staring at now is, we sort of see you yelling, and your yelling is probably the time sort of skips, and we sort of see several flashes of you over the course of what may be days, maybe weeks, yelling Yarlet's name, but you get no response.
I had no magical powers. Definitely can't get out.
So to the north, you can see Affa, where from where you are, you can see it on the distance.
Ooh, I called to my father.
You gonna try calling to your father? Okay. $20. Oh. Okay. So yeah, you call out to your father, and you hear a confused voice on the breeze, and it's sort of like, as a gust of wind carries over, you hear him say, "Bumpy Trail? Is that you?"
It's me. I'm here. I'm on the hill. I'm nearby our old tree. The hill, whatever it used to be called.
So you
Is that exactly what Bumpy
No.
said?
So yeah. No,
You hear him try to respond, but slowly his voice gets more and more obscured by the breeze. But you just about make out, don't worry, I'm coming.
I just want to dump those.
I guess I'd say, come save me.
So you get no further response.
Okay.
So as you look to the north towards where Afa is, and as he responds to you, you begin to notice, and you've seen it over the course of a few weeks, that there's a shadow from the north, seemingly cast as if cast by some giant unseen mountain in the distance. There's a shadow that's slowly been creeping its way south. It's long since shrouded as far as you can see to the north, but this shadow is slowly creeping towards Afa.
Oh, that's not good.
It's the race. We gotta hurry.
Do you want to try anything else?
After our final stop. That was round, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'd try and I could call out to warn my dad or my father, but what I do, I don't know. I trying to think of what Bumps should even have, would do, would have done. I would attempt to call to my father and say, leave the town, there's something coming, you're not safe. Or maybe even if I call it to the whole town. Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
Big old shadow coming. 12.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Okay. So you call out and you I think so. So what are the words again? So
leave the town, there's something coming.
You already hear, have you heard the word? Coming!
Leave the town, there's something coming. Save
like,
yourself.
Afa's not safe.
Afa's not safe, yeah.
Okay. So I think you sort of shout back to the sky, and the camera pans up, following the voice. And as we do, so the camera pans up to the swirling grey clouds above, and then the sky changes to one that's similarly grey, but instead of the ashy grey snow, we see rain padding down. And as the camera pans down, we see an ornate caravan adorned with spider paraphernalia and all sorts of drapings. And I like to imagine sort of like you've taken silk and torn it to look like spider webs and dangled it from the side. The camera pans down. We cam in through the window of the caravan, and we see Yarlet curled up in a blanket with the golden globe sort of nestled in against the side of her head, and we very gently hear those words again. And as Yarlet's eyes open, and you hear faintly those words, the shadow is coming. Leave the town. Afa's not safe.
Okay. So, how close are we to? How long have we been on the road now?
It's the end of your first day. You're sleeping after being on the first day of the road, so you're only just out north of Taichung.
Okay. So the caravan, I guess, is it like one big carriage or?
It is, yeah. So you've got some sort of simple mule pulling the caravan from the front.
And are we all inside?
Yeah, it's big enough for everybody. It's not comfortable inside with everybody inside, but there's enough room for everybody. Like you can all lie out on the floor. You're like shoulder to shoulder, and there's sort of simple benches on the side. So you're probably up on a bench on the side. The dragons would sleep on the floor. The dragon. I like to think there's probably the floor of the caravan actually pulls back. You can sort of, if you're stood outside, you can pull the floor out, and there's a hidden compartment underneath that you've been keeping the dragon in. So you probably have that sort of pulled slightly out, and you can see the head of the dragon just laid out on the side.
Okay. So I guess everyone's sleeping but me.
Yeah, so you're the first awake.
Okay. I guess Yarla would sit up, looking at the window, watching the rain fall down. Kind of, you can see contemplation going through her face, like do we need to redirect right away before her hand goes to her side? And she's like, keep going. And then I think she'd, who's closer, Run or Den, on the floor?
Both roll a d20.
13.
6.
So, Din's closer. So he'd be sleeping like directly underneath you. So
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you're on the bench and he's on the floor underneath the bench.
I guess I'll roll dexterity to try and not wake him up while I crawl over him.
Yep. Well, you're by a window. You could try. It depends where you're going. You could go out the window if you wanted.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'll try that then. We got a 17.
Yeah, that's fine. What's your passive perception, Din? It's not going to be anywhere near.
No. 10.
Yeah, not going to be anywhere near. Yeah, so you can do that. You sort of gently slide yourself. You're taking the orb with you.
Yeah. Yep. Just move. What I want to do is just move to the front of the caravan to get the mule going faster. So just kind of like a quiet urgency.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, nice.
And I guess while I'm alone out there, whisper Bumpy Trill's name to the golden orb to see if anything happens.
Roll a d20.
16.
So Bunky, back on the hill. What do you whisper?
I literally just whispered Bumpy Trill's name.
So you hear once again your name on the breeze. Clearly Yarlet's voice.
Okay, then I would definitely say that again to you, saying, I can say, I can see something coming. It's coming towards Affa. I don't know where I am, but you have to help me.
Okay. Can I hear her already? Like no roll.
Yeah, no roll. You've just got a connection now.
Okay, perfect. Ooh, so many things to say. I got. Stay where you are. I'll be there soon.
Okay. So yeah, she says that, and you go to respond, but the wind picks up to a gale, and the sound of it whistling past your ears drowns out Yarla's voice, but you manage to hear, "Stay put, I'm coming."
Okay.
Nice. Okay.
Bumpy, I'm coming.
Oh yeah.
Nice. So.
You had your orb connection for 10 seconds, and that's the first thing you do.
This is unrequited love that I thought was dead. All right.
So we sort of plan out. I think we'll probably end this scene, but we'll finish on Yarlet's face. Sort of, you can sort of see the sleeping people in the wagon behind you. You sort of jogging at the reins to hurry the mule. What's the sort of expression on Yarlet's face as we pan out of this scene?
I'd say so. Like, she definitely hasn't been sleeping well ever since the dream. So a couple nights ago. So already looks tired, like bags under her eyes.
Yeah, I think there's probably actually just like a dry blood on the corner of your mouth from where just like you'll periodically cough up some black spittle and
Yep. Clothes and pigtails drenched from the rain. I think it kind of goes from looking like a tired look in her eyes to like a determined is the wrong word, like an obsessed look.
Yeah.
Like I know finally exactly what I want is right in front of me. It's time to get it.
nice.
Anime protagonist look.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly that. Nice. Cool, very much. Add an inspiration on the two gnomes. So add one inspiration right, for Bunky Trip.
Woo! 3 inspiration.
Nice. Okay. So I think with that we can roll the actual credits for the second time. So that's where we sort of bump on our cold. Well, our cold open finishes with that, and then we shall for a second time. This time 4 points. Let me grab my book.
Oh.
Are you ready, Smith? I'm ready.
And let me quickly find my page.
Coming.
Pencil. Right. Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
you.
Cool, right. Roll credits.
Bone Devil smashing through the tent roof.
I think Ogul's head spinning in the air after she gets decapitated.
Nice.
Everybody bonding around the fire, listening to Nuck's history.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Freak like me.
Bumpy Chill chained to the tree in the dream, screaming out.
Love it.
Yeah, flashback to 10 seconds ago.
Oh, this was the dream!
The first time,
Oh,
I saw it, yeah.
okay. I retract my dickish comment.
Nuck
Absolutely slaughtering the Kenku.
Nice. Yeah, like feathers flying everywhere.
Yeah, feathers everywhere, glowing purple eyes.
Nuck fighting being bitten by the giant crocodile.
Oh, yeah, getting dragged into the water with Din chasing after.
Yeah.
The four of us looking up in horror as Alice descends for the first time.
Nuck throwing the dice with rock, paper, scissors in the back.
And Ron trying to save Nuck.
Any
I
final
use
ones?
my hero horn.
Yeah. So yeah, I actually think that's I'm going to say poignant, but I'm not going to say why. So that's where the credits
God.
fade out, as we see in the bottom of the cavern by touching the tips past, nestled between two stones, gently patted on with the rain, was this horn with Din flexing and a dead crocodile by his side carved into it. Nice. So that's 3 for everybody except for Smith, who got 1 right at the end there.
My best one for a while.
Nice. Right, so let me find some ambience quickly. And then we shall jump in. It's gravel fields, yeah. Here
I
we
thought
go.
you were going to sing that.
What? Sing?
Yeah, the plan.
Oh. Not quite. I'm too distracted by my lost love being alive. I'm very excited.
So
Or alive, like in the spirit world.
So as the credits sort of fade out, we stay on a black screen, and then we slowly hear the rattling of the wheels of the caravan as it sort of rocks, and the clog of the hooves of the mule. I mean, I think that we start off. So as the camera sort of fades up, the face that we see, the sleeping face of Weiss lying on her side on the bench opposite to Yarlet, and she wakes. So it's so yeah, Weiss, you wake, and we'll say you wake next, and you wake to see the dragons asleep on the floor, and Yarlet has taken up the reins at the front of the cart.
Is this how far into our journey are we?
So it's dawn of the second day.
Okay.
And you look out the window and you recognise where you are, and let me pull up the map. So you're a good way there now. So you've managed to make good time. Like Yarlet's been you roll perception actually.
Well, that was a 5, so I think it was 10.
10. Okay. Well, it's you don't really. Well, you notice that you're further than you anticipated being.
Okay.
Like you pushed a good way up the road. Like you're expecting to still be in the gravel fields. You probably actually, as you look out, you look out just in time to see the broken slate on the ground slowly turning to the side of the road. Slowly begins to dissolve to grass as you move further to the north. And you've made it clearer of the gravel fields.
Okay. I think I probably take on a bit of like a scout role, and so I'll use Flock of Familiars, and just summon my familiars and just send them out in like just to kind of get an idea if there's anything around us.
Nice. So what does that look like when you summon them? So are they sort of, do you materialize them, or do you just whistle and they appear over the horizon? What's the actual summoning look like?
They materialize. So I think I probably like grab a bunch of feathers out of my hair and then hold them in my hands like this, like in front of me, and then I say a couple of words, and the words kind of get like it's like you can half hear them, like half getting mangled.
Yeah.
And the eyes glow, and then just as if sort of like a dove out of a hat, just the feathers just kind of sort of invert into, I think it's 4 birds I get now.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
What are their names?
So, well, I actually don't know if I can have Castle Row or not, because he wasn't mine. He belonged to Thingy.
He belongs to Yuzentai, so you don't summon Kosoro. He's just he's an actual raven who's But I would actually say if you summon these crows, so the breeze catches the feathers. You're sat opposite. So the caravan has these two benches.
Yeah.
There's a window at the back and there's a window on either side. So you'd be sat next to a window.
Yeah.
And as the breeze catches these feathers and pulls them out, we see these birds appear.
Yeah.
And
I'd probably send them all through the front so it shocks Yarlet. Yeah. I've been doing this continuously every day. So just every now and then when I need to scout, there's just like 4 birds fly past you.
Nice. Okay. So
Good morning.
So I think as the camera follows the birds as they take to the sky, and we sort of get the drone shot as we get higher and higher, and the 4 birds sort of join in formation behind the 5th. As we see that the leader of the troop, who has just been flying above the caravan above you, is Cussle Row, and is the head of your black squadron of birds.
Yeah. Then we have Stephen Seagull. We've got Wobbin Williams. Who else? I think
Cheryl the Crow.
Yep. We need one more.
Who played
Courtney
the Crow?
Dove.
Oh,
Was it
You played what?
Bruce
Bruce
Lee's
Lee's
son?
son. which I can't remember his name.
Is it? It's not.
It's Brandon Lee.
Lou Spree would be a good name.
Lucy. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
When you get home and there's Brie all over your shopping bag. Damn it, there was some loose Brie.
That's a tenuous enough connection. So yeah. So what were they again? I'm gonna.
So Louis Spree.
I just need to say this. Nut Selection, that's the name of my playlist on Pornhub.
Deduct one inspiration.
It was worth it!
That's my specialty pizza from Domino's.
Nice. Okay. You don't really need to roll anything. So the birds head out ahead, and they'll return shortly with news of what lays ahead on the road.
Okay. Anything, because they can talk to me telepathically, I think.
Oh, can they? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
This is the same as a familiar, it's just limited to an hour.
Okay.
So that's why I can have the 4 of them.
Okay. So yeah, they tell you the road ahead's clear. No, you've got a clear shot. Nobody within eyesight.
Okay.
So you've got a clear shot at the capital.
Yeah. I guess I'd sidle up beside Yarlet then and just kind of sit there and be like, hey, yeah, looks like there's nothing around us. Not immediately. So yeah, we're all good.
Roll a perception.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
18 plus 5?
Actually, so instead of +5, it'll be an insight rather than a perception. So keep the roll, change the modifier.
Still plus 5.
Okay. So what's that total?
23.
20. So you can read Yarlet like a bit of a book right now. You know something's up. Like you say.
I don't think Yarlin's exactly subtle about it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's probably for exactly that reason. Like she's probably still got that look of determination glued on her face. So you put 2 and 2 together that she's been up all night pushing the mule.
Sorry about the birds.
I hate you so much.
So I don't know we've had some time pass in the interim. So what is the relationship between Yarlet and Weiss like at this point? Like, are you a friend? Just messing with your friend? Is this banter? Is this just how Weiss treats people?
Yeah, I think like Weiss is quite. She's very sarcastic to everybody around her, but like she'll play pranks on people that she's closer with.
Right. Okay. And you can decide for yourself, Yarlet, if you deduce this behaviour as taking
It's like, this bitch won't leave me alone every day.
yeah.
Birds!
So is this? So I'd probably say I'd pose the question in another way. Is this the sort of way that you would interact with your friends, sort of back home? Are you used to these sort of friendships where you mess with one another and play pranks?
I think so. I feel like gnomes, especially in like a quiet place like Alpha, like, I guess I've got the idea, like Merry and Pippin and whatnot. It's the Shire, it's Hobbiton. People like a quiet life, but with friends, they probably like joke around a little bit more. So I think, Yarlet acting annoyed about it but not actually being annoyed about it is pretty par for the course. Like,
Yeah. Nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I guess Weiss would be like, it's like you've been a bit off for a couple of days. Is there anything that you want to talk about?
Nope. Let me think. I think I'm just getting antsy now that we're closer to the town. I want this taken care of as soon as possible.
Yeah, fair enough. Would it make you feel better if I cursed Run with a permanent mustache?
Yes, actually.
So yeah, I do that.
So I think we get that. Like, I'm not even going to do any rolls. So I think the next thing we see is like, she's like, yeah, actually, I would. And like, we see like we're getting the sort of the head and shoulders of Weiss and Yarlet sat on the front bench of this cart, and we just see sort of between the two of them Run. Like the Undertaker sit up, and
Can we have a roll to see how glorious it is? Like on the scale of wispy to like full on.
Well, I just like to think it's sort of like a la Jigglypuff. It looks like it's been drawn on.
Exactly. The funny thing is, he's already got one. He's already got one, so it's just drawn on.
What have you got? Fu Manchu?
I got a bit of a Fu Manchu.
Yeah, you guys have got
anyway.
like the coil-like whiskers, but like no, just like underneath your nose, like it's been drawn on in Sharpie. Just like this little curl.
Underneath my nose.
Like a little toothbrush.
This golden dragon thing's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Golden dragons did nothing wrong.
So then, do you sit up and like, do you immediately don your mask, or like, have you not been wearing it unless?
When I'm in the cart, I won't be wearing it as much.
Okay, so Run, you're the next awake. Like, there's no sensation, like there's no way of you really knowing that this is on your face.
Cool.
Actually, roll a perception. Actually, we'll give you some chance.
It is only for an hour, sadly.
I roll to see if I notice.
Well,
no 5. You don't.
Also,
notice.
there's something on your face. Hold still.
Yeah. So you're the next awake. So you sit up unaware. So we sort of see you sit up. Bit of a stretch.
Morning.
how are we getting? What? We've been going fast today. It's been a bit bumpy.
The mule's hungry.
It's been running all night.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
So it's up to you if you want to try and insight anybody at the front of the cart. Whether I don't know that Ron would actually be interested in any of it.
No, not at all.
Okay. So what would your sort of a day of travel look like for Run? Do you wake up then immediately? So he's still aside. You sort of look down to your side and you can sort of see into Din's soul through his mouth this wide.
Sometimes I let him sleep so we can have some peace.
Roll for dragon.
What would a day in the travel be? One thing I definitely would do, not necessarily be interested about how you guys are doing and all that jazz, but I'd be like, I've been thinking, how did you guys learn magic? Like, what? I can't do that.
How'd you learn magic? PTSD flashbacks for Yarlet.
Yeah, I actually do think. I do think we get like 2-3 freeze frames
That's to do with Bumpy
of like Yarlet in the dead of night, a bloated corpse. Sort of like her
It's
tramping
like
through
the
the
dog
woods.
facing the cupcake meme. The Yarlet's just like, books. You have to read a lot for magic.
I think the camera pans to Weiss, and we sort of see like her lying in the ground, and sort of like her mother looming over her with this glowing purple liquid. Weiss, do you give an answer to how you learnt magic?
Well, yeah, I don't know if she said it to you guys before, but we had a flashback before, which was like, oh yeah, I got attacked by a gang of children and accidentally killed one. And then when I realised it was a noble's son, a bunch of assassins came after me, and then I teleported away.
Easy.
That's how you learn.
That's how you learn magic.
I learned it by doing it.
So I think on these two explanations of brief flashbacks, the camera finishes circling round to where Run is, and what expression do we land on?
He's like, well, I'm definitely not going to read.
Fuck your reading! So I just-
I kill a noble and teleport.
Where's the nearest
Read.
nobleman's son?
I mean, we're going to Southfell.
Tons of noble kids around there.
Read. Now, I'm pretty sure reading's not a big thing in Tai Cheng for...
Yeah, do you two even know how to read? I'm
No,
guessing not.
neither of you would know how to read.
I knew you wouldn't.
We read by giving the book to a nerd and asking them to read it out for us.
I reckon Shaki would have taught them how to read in Draconic at least.
Yeah.
Potentially, yeah, you might be able, you can probably read Draconic, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, you
Not
probably would have
special,
taught.
so can I.
Yeah,
Wow.
but yeah, like common, you can't read common.
What would that even look like? Because like the Draconic language is like clicks and whistles. Like
Yeah, well, we actually described it before because you had the book, so it looks sort of like, it's almost like kanji, but it's like it's been drawn incredibly aggressively. Like, it almost looks like, you know...
it's
like,
written like kanji but spoken like German.
Yeah. And it doesn't follow any... I like to think that it doesn't follow any sort of like left to right or top down structure.
Oh,
It is like
spirals inwards.
Yeah, it's like somebody's attacked a page with
It's
the
written
pen.
by a series of stoves.
Well, yeah, it almost looks like it. Yeah. So it just looks like chaos on a page, but to the initiated, it does mean something.
Okay.
And like I think like how we discovered before how Draconic, you can say a lot with very simple gestures and words. I think the written language is very similar in that a single squiggle on a page would be the same as like a chapter in a book.
Okay.
Like there's intense amounts of data or information in very small amounts of ink.
Nice.
So kill a noble. Learn to read.
I can teach you how to read. It's not hard.
And I sort of look
I
at
can teach you how to kill a noble.
Also not hard.
I look at Weez and go, thank you for telling me. Yarla, could you teach me? You could teach me to read.
Yeah. I can teach you to read Common and Draconic.
Ooh.
And also Gnomish, Elvish, and Sylvian if you really want to.
Nah, it's just nah. Don't want those. Yeah, I can kill two. I can kill a noble if I find one. But I think we can do that.
Okay. Actually, let's do. I'm going to quickly bullshit up some mechanics for teaching run to read.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say you've got a target between the two of you of, let's say, like 300.
Okay.
And once a day you can spend an hour, and you can both roll 1d10.
Oh, okay.
And then you work towards that total between you. So you both add it on. So he adds it by learning, you add it by teaching.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
And then
I
so
like that.
you got, so if you just write out of 300 on your sheet there, and then write d10 next to it,
Awesome.
and you can roll one each. And then once you get between you a total of 300
Yeah.
rolling d10s once a day maximum,
Perfect.
you can teach them to read.
Can I roll to distract them with a d6 every day?
No.
Yeah, you want- yeah, you
Fuck
can-
off. Birds.
Did nobody comment on his tash?
No, what did they?
I mean, I was
Well, 'cause-
laughing and pointing.
Because
He was
right
just
now,
like, he didn't
I'm
care.
assuming we can't see because we're both sat in the front of the carriage.
Facing
and he's-
forwards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's still within the carriage.
You both know it's there because you
Yeah, I just haven't seen it till last
So,
night.
so I think at this point, Din, you would be the next to wake. So do you even sit up when you wake? Like you can probably, I'd say you can actually have been privy to as much of this conversation as you would like to have been privy to. You can either been lying there pretending to be asleep, or you can wake up at this moment. or
Readings
anywhere
dumb.
anywhere between.
Yeah.
Readings for nerds!
So you don't even sit up. Just we hear from the bottom. We hear from the bottom of the caravan. Sort of out of frame, Din's voice.
Yeah.
What did you say? Sorry, so.
Readings for nerds.
And then do you sit up or do you just remain
No, I'll
lying?
stay down.
Nice.
Did you notice that all 4 birds are just sat on you?
Interesting.
I was like, you can't see it, but as soon as you say readings for nerds, just at the front of your arm, it's just like.
So roll a perception for me, please.
9. Is this passive or?
No, so with your skill, so add a plus if you've got it
Naught.
trained. So 9. So no, yeah. So lying down because you're just staring up at the ceiling. You haven't looked across the run yet. So nobody is aware of the curly mustache that has been
the
sharpened
stash.
onto his face. And then so I think the last to awaken, we sort of see in the back of the frame these two black antlers sort of swing up. as the dragon rears his head out from underneath the floor where he's been sleeping. He says, are we there yet?
For the 100th time. No.
Where are we going again?
To South, pal.
I just try and close the thing.
Actually, so yeah, hold on. I get to roll dice for the first time. So we'll roll a contested. I rolled mine underneath the monitor.
Shit. 3.
I got a 9
Any
for the dragon.
pluses?
Let me find out.
What's it using?
Strength.
8.
8. Oh, so he already beat you with the flat roll. So yeah, you try and push it back, but like I think like it catches his chin, and then just because his antlers are so large, they hit the back wall of the cart, and you can't push it any further. And so it's not so much he beats you in strength, in so much as like there just isn't room to get his head down there.
I call that a success. Yeah.
He lets out a grumble in Draconic, and you don't really need to roll anything to understand the emotion. Nice, okay. So I think with that, the camera sort of pans back up towards the sky. Somebody roll a d20.
Okay.
Oh.
12.
12. Okay, cool. So the grey clouds overhead and the gentle rain, we sort of see we see the sun move across the sky quickly as time advances, and the clouds begin to part. And as the sun slowly begins to dry the grass to either side of the road, we pan back down and we see Southfell coming into view, and we see the caravan slowly rocking its way towards it. What's the plan when you reach the gate?
Plan.
Owls is coming!
Maybe.
So do you come in almost like crying? Are you crying out to the breeze, warnings of owls?
So we do think owls is bad, right? We're not pro owls.
Yeah.
It's like
We're like doomsayers being
But
like, oh, like there's nothing. It's almost like it's bad, but it's an inevitability.
So it's like Christians all dressing up as Satan coming in and.
Kind of, and more like.
Well, no, it's more like Christians yelling about the rapture.
Yeah. Like
But then dressing as
Yeah.
rapturous light.
Yeah. Well,
you,
try and
you don't know much about Warhammer, do you?
No, not really.
Okay. I was gonna say it's like the Harlequin.
Yeah, but you're just trying to draw attention to yourselves, so that
It's next after D&D. Just you wait.
So we think subtlety is the option is actually the opposite of subtlety. You're going to try and make as much of a ruckus on your way in as possible.
Hide in plain sight.
I don't think we need to be consistent. We're wearing leather spider masks and robes, shouting about the end of the world.
The more ramshackle it is, the more real it will look. Probably. Yeah.
So
Nice. Okay. So
I should probably be the mouthpiece just because I've got the high charisma.
Is anybody trained in perforance?
Good question.
I've got a +4 in performance.
I'm trained in deception.
I'm +2.
Has anybody got the dot?
No.
No.
I have deception, but not performance.
I've got a dot in religion.
Okay.
Do you
Or
want to make a religion about
Start your own religion.
because I'd like to. I'm not sure if we talked about this before or how we rule it, but I quite like to roll with, just because it gets out of these situations where just everybody ends up rolling for the same thing. And I'm not sure if we adopted this before, because I had it in my notes for rules and we did before, but I do quite like the rule that you can't assist somebody in a roll unless you're trained in the skill you're trying to assist with.
Makes sense.
So in that case, so just whoever's got the best performance check is rolling for the group.
Okay.
So I'm +3.
+4.
Plus one, so go ahead.
Well, wait. Would we use performance or would it use? Could I use persuasion?
It depends how you want to do it. So if you're going to go for the tactic of just making a load of noise and just trying to sort of get the guards to keep their distance from you, that would be performance.
Okay.
Whereas if you're going to talk to one of the guards and explain who you are and hand them a pamphlet about the incoming owls, then that would be a persuade. It depends how closely you want to try and interact with the guards, or whether you want to try and avoid that in the first place by being kind of nutty.
Probably it won't be a performance unless we need a performance. I don't think.
Right. Okay. So you're actually gonna make some of the noise on the way into town. So I think we'll still roll a performance check, but it's not going to be the decider. It's going to decide how convincing your then subsequent persuade check will be when you speak to the guards.
And obviously, I'm going to try and get the guards to join us. because
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Sweet. So we sort of see as the camera's panning down and we get the drone shot draws in closer. We begin to hear the wails on the breeze. And what sort of stuff do you guys yell about owls? What sort of what sort of statements do you actually yell out?
Behold the coming doom. Spiders will overtake the world.
Owls is real bad.
So we sort
Just
of,
give a thumbs up to Dan.
so we sort of hear those two statements sort of gently on the breeze, sort of like muffled by the distance that it is. And I think the camera shot we get is sort of like looking over the shoulder of like two guards who are stood at the southern gate to Southfell. And we sort of hear you shout this, and one of them turns to the other one and goes, "This is all you," and nudges his friend forwards, and one of the guards begins to walk the opposite way down the road towards you. So where you are at the moment, you're now at the outer wall of Southfell. So I don't think I've described this in the past to you guys. So Southfell is this large sort of semicircular city. Like even from outside the city, you can probably see the upper city from here over the top of the wall, and you can sort of see that it's got there's green tiled ceilings. Not ceilings, roofs on the houses, with the sort of with the very ornate fronts to the roofs carved in reds and browns and dark woods. So you can probably see when the sun catches it, right, gold gilding bouncing off. And then as it goes as your view pulls downwards, all you can see is the outer wall, far too high for any man to scale, and near featureless on the outside. It's just a grey flat, and curves slowly to the side with these enormous towers and guard lookouts spread very far apart, and there's a good way between each of them. And you can once you're close, you can't even really make out people at the top. You can see some shuffling when you're further, but like ants crawling atop a mound. You can't really make out any detail. And once you're sort of close enough for this guard to be, you're sort of fully in the shade of the southern wall of the city here. And as this guard begins to slowly pad towards you, you're going to wait for him to say anything, or is one of you going to march out to meet him? Are you going to let him approach all the way up to the cart, or are you going to try and intercept him before he gets that close? So the dragon is stowed under the floorboards at the moment. And I'm guessing you guys are where. So let's get positions of everybody. Who's where?
I will be still inside the cart.
Inside the cart. I'm assuming cloak. And we're just going to assume cloaks and masks.
Yeah.
So you guys are going to stay inside the cart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're going to be attempting to look busy in any way, or are you just going to be sort of sat in the back, or are you sort of leaning out the window yelling? Yeah.
Yes.
Probably yelling.
Yeah.
So we sort of see out of either of the two side windows. We've got the heads of these. We sort of see the larger of the spider masks made to cover up your faces. A gloved hand cupped to yell to the breeze.
Yeah.
So then the other two, where are you guys going to be?
So I think
on the front, yeah.
masked as well.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I think I'll at least make a show of like, as I see him coming towards us, I'll jump down and I'll do like tell the birds to all sort of like scatter out of the thing at the same time and cast dancing lights just for a second, so there's sort of like some magic in the air.
Nice.
And then I sort of jump down in amongst that and take the mask off to approach the guard, sort of like meet him a couple of feet, like maybe 10 feet in front of our carriage.
Okay, so he yells halt to the carriage. I'm assuming you abide and pull the horse, and then he allows you to walk out towards him. And you're gonna get the first word in, or are you gonna wait for him to talk?
I'm just like, welcome, brother. We have come to warn you of an impending doom.
Okay,
to save you from the horror of the mountain.
Okay, so roll your choice of persuade or performance.
Oh God. Well, that is a 4+. It's high though for persuasion 7, so it's 11.
11. Okay.
We always use our inspiration.
Nah, that's fine.
So you can tell he's immediately just exacerbated, and you can probably tell without any sort of insight joke. It's like he glances back at the other guard who stood at the gate, and you see him sort of smile and give a almost sarcastic wave, and he's Pardon, Doom. What's your business in Southfell?
We are a travelling troupe who have come to spread the word of owls. The scorpion.
And that word is scorpion.
So I'm gonna get him to roll a history. Okay, 13. So he's heard of owls. He says owls. I've heard the legends.
Well, what if I told you?
He's not a legend, he's a bit of a bellend.
He's an arsehole.
That hidden in the mountain, larger than the ancient dragons, and with a brood of hatching younglings. He's I don't know what I was going to say next. Danger awaits.
Okay, yeah, cool. Roll a persuade.
That was good.
Let's also, before we do that, let's get the performance from. I think yours was a performance as well. So
That one.
yeah, you can use that as your
That
performance.
was 13. It would be +4 for performance.
Nice.
Okay, nice, sweet. And then roll your persuade after that. So you're assisted by the guys wailing out the windows behind you.
I was gonna say, I would echo some of his words.
That's a 19.
Okay.
When he says danger awaits, you go, danger!
The schooner is coming.
The scorpion. Okay.
Oh!
He says, like he looks a bit concerned at this.
He's already dead. Oops.
She says, "What proof have you that these legends aren't just legends?"
Do we have anything from Moses?
I couldn't say for sure.
The dragon.
Yeah, we haven't. No. We could say that anything.
We didn't take anything from Moses. Well, you guys didn't take anything. Right?
No, nothing that will sort of prove it.
We could just tell him.
Can I?
yeah,
We have seen it with our own eyes.
I'll just say we have witness testimony from several individuals, and our first job will be to report to whoever's in charge to let them know.
Okay.
Also, can you let me know about like the whatchamacallit? Like, do I need to get like a license for us to put on a performance in the town square? Like, how does that work?
Is this you?
Yeah,
or
this
the
is
character asking?
Okay. Yeah. So he goes. I'll need to take you to see the captain. And he puts two fingers to his lips and lets out a whistle. And you see that and glances back at the other man at the door. He looks sort of up. So he sort of stood in the archway and he sort of looks directly up and gives a nod. And you see the gate. Sort of one solid piece of thick wood begins to slowly, and you hear the sort of cranking of chains as the gate begins to slowly rise. And he says, "With me, try not to make too much of a scene." And he walks off ahead of you. He just 180s and begins walking back towards the town.
Yeah. I put the mask on and I hissed at someone in the line next to me.
Yeah.
Maybe shout. Don't like walk into a new city and shout doom.
No, I like.
Well, that's the whole plan.
No, that's it.
No. We are preventing doom.
No, it's already done. So I like he's like try not to make too much of a scene, and as he 180s, just run too far away to have heard any of this conversation. Just yells, "Doom!
You're all in grave danger.
And
Let's hurt more than two.
And you sort of see this guy huff and begins to slowly march you in towards the town. So yeah, you sort of slowly rattle through. So you guys is it the performance sort of continue as you go into town, or are you gonna because you're gonna be now very dense with people, are you gonna sort of retreat in, pull the curtains, or are you continuing to cry?
I think we're in, so I think that kind of went well.
Yeah, keep it going.
No!
I was still thinking keep it quieter now because we're in.
Yeah.
It would look weird to the guy we're speaking to if we just suddenly shrunk away.
Like spiders.
Okay. So the plan is to just try and not draw attention by drawing attention to yourself in so much as you just want to give people giving you a wide berth.
We shout doom, but quietly.
Can I? Because the guard's taking us to someone.
Yeah, he said we're taking you to the captain.
The captain.
So can I say, my companions are tired from the journey. We pushed our mule to the extreme to get here. Would it be all right if I came with you with the written witness testimony, and we send them to the inn to get settled?
Okay, roll up persuade.
Come on. Oh, that is a 1.
Oh, no!
And he says, so he turns
Our
back.
masks fall off.
He turns back and he says, "No, the captain will need to speak to all of you first. Then tavern afterwards."
What, all 5 of us? Oops.
5, you say?
I mean, and he continues to walk. So he's sort of like walking along. Are you walking alongside him ahead of the caravan and trying to keep his attention, or are you going to go rejoin the caravan? And
Yeah, I'm probably walking with him. Yeah.
yeah, he says no. You will need to see the captain first. I don't even know if you can stay in the city yet.
Okay. I shoot Jarl at a glance, like.
You speak eyes, so
Yeah.
as so many D&D characters do. You speak intricate eyes gestures.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm putting the mask on, and just as I'm doing it, I turn and I'm like.
Roll a perception, Yarlet.
Perhaps Doom shall find this man sooner than the rest.
Guys, it's going great.
Nice, okay.
I had a 2, so
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
So
I completely misread the eyes.
you were just too far. I think you're just too far away.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
You saw some
In
sort
your
of a
thoughts,
glance.
is she coming on to me?
Okay. So yeah, the cart slowly rocks its way through, and the mule is all but out of fuel at this point. As it tiredly drags you into town, as you yell doom to the breeze. You see as you come into the town. So let's roll a performance. So again, I think you're in charge of this.
Okay. Shit.
You got this, Steve.
Woo, that's a 12.
12.
Plus.
+4.
That is +4.
Okay.
It was 8 +4.
Okay. So I'd say with that, so with a 12, like you see that most people are, as intended, giving you quite a wide berth, but you do see that as you're sort of yelling it, some people are starting to take an interest.
Oh, no.
I mean, and you begin to see like some people who are sort of as you come into the town. The first thing you come into is you're just immediately in a marketplace. There's buildings sort of 100 feet away, and once you're in Southwell, you see how densely packed this place is. The buildings are sort of almost all in disrepair, and all packed in far too tightly. You can see the ages vary wildly of the structures in front of you. Some of them sort of old and look like they were maybe once grand and ornate, but have fallen into disrepair. And other buildings have been these buildings have either been crudely extended, or in spaces where there may have once been alleyways, there have been crude structures shoved into every available space. And there's thousands of people here, and you can hear the hum of them. The wall was so tall and thick that you're almost shielded from the sound from outside. But now that you're in the walls, the hum of the city is all around you, and there's almost too many people for there's nobody to take notice of you. And you see some people begin to break away from the stalls that they were shopping at, take an interest, and some pad towards you, and taking an interest in the doom that you are calling. You sort of see a ton of flyers. So yeah, you sort of see towards the front of the crowd. You can sort of see everybody's looking your way, and a small boy sort of walks up towards just underneath the window where you guys both roll a d20.
Yeah.
12.
Oh. Is 18.
18. So Din, underneath your window, you hear a small boy. You hear a small voice that you at first don't hear. And he goes, "What kind of doom, sir?" The camera we sort of see Din's POV as the camera pans down.
Please, sir, may I have some
You see this like snotty-looking street urchin child looking up at you, sort of dried boogers underneath his left nostril and tatty, greasy hair. Something that you couldn't even really call them clothes. He has sort of rags on. Something that looks like it may have once been a tailored shirt, but is been patched and sewed together clumsily by hands, clearly not trained to do so. And yeah, he says, "What doom, sir?" Looking, and he seems strangely unfazed by your sort of like grotesque leather spider mask.
So, do you like spiders, boy?
Are you attempting to intimidate? What is? Is that an intimidate, a persuade,
it's just
or is it
it's just a performance again, I think.
a performance? Okay, roll it up.
12, 14.
14. He goes, not really, sir.
What's the biggest spider you've ever seen?
Oh, and he holds up a hand as if it's not a large hand. But he says about this size under my cot.
A cot. Okay.
Slow your roller, Jen.
What's he doing down there?
We're not that type of cult, okay?
Imagine one 1,000,000 times bigger.
Okay, so this is an intimidate. So
Yeah, yeah.
So roll it up.
I reject.
Correct.
Didn't know that.
You sort of see like his.
Hold on, that's 28.
So you see the colour leave this poor boy's face,
I've gone too far.
and we sort of see briefly like the camera like zooms
I've
in.
made a huge mistake.
The camera sort of zooms in, and we sort of go into the boy's pupil, into his imagination briefly, and we see him peering underneath his crude wooden, what he'd called a cot/bed. He peers underneath, and then slowly the cot begins to raise up off the ground as these large legs extend out from underneath, lifting him atop his bed on this giant spider. And the camera pans back out, and you hear a gentle trickling sound as this pale boy stands at you and he says, he doesn't say anything. He stands perfectly still, staring at you. It's like the caravan's rolling, so he stands perfectly still, and you just sort of this boy disappears from your view.
As we're moving away, I shout, "Spread the word, boy!"
Okay, yeah.
Christ, Dad. You traumatized him.
So yeah, I think with that, like, I think your 28 is enough. Like you hear off in the distance, spiders, the spiders are coming, the spiders. as you sort of lean round to see him disappearing into an alleyway, and all these sort of people be like parting ways to let this screaming child through. I think that's enough, actually, that nobody else really comes that close to the cart from this point. But you hear murmurs in the crowd. Spiders? What's he talking about? So are you going to make any further attempts to sort of spread your word, or are you going to make the most of this distance you've afforded yourself?
I think Yarla's just like, it's pretty good at this. I'm impressed. He didn't snow anybody.
Yeah. I think you did
Stove his heart.
Emotional damage. That's the name of my debut album.
Okay, so I think nobody comes close to the cart on the rest of your journey. You're led a fair ways. You're sort of 5 minutes winding through streets in the cart as this guard leads you towards. Eventually, you round a corner and you see that there's one building that's actually been given some room from the others. There's quite a large clearance around it, and you can immediately tell just at a glance that this is where the guards are stationed. This is the barracks. This is their headquarters. There's men in leather armor and spears and swords. Everybody who's within 20 feet of this building appears to be armed, and you slowly rattle towards this building. I think that's where we'll bump for a break. Now, if we want to grab drinks, as you guys are heading towards the most heavily armed portion of this area of the town.
It's going to go well.
And we'll cut to an advert for Bud Light.
Do you have problems coming? Not anymore.
I was just thinking, when the snotty kid comes up to the car, Ron goes, "He doesn't look like he's the son of a nobleman."
Anybody else want another Bud Light?
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
please.
please.
Thanks.
Yeah, the advert cuts to the boy looking under his bed, and there's a six-pack of
how many
Bud
buds was
Light.
I think it's two.
Not so bad.
Was it 2 buds?
2 buds, Matt?
No, I'm alright. I'm just gonna have water.
I was a yes. I don't know.
Pass those through.
Yeah, we were the two. Yeah.
I've got a whole crate, so just pass it through.
Woo! Cheers.
Thank you.
Actually, I will have one.
And then the Bud Light's growing. And it's
Like, oh,
You just hear the.
long day of D&D.
Political.
LOL, cry baby.
My dad said earlier, have a good time playing Drunk and Disorderly.
He ain't far off.
Oh, yeah, I need a breather.
Right, so now we've got the word out.
Oh, yes,
now we
please.
got to get people to start making masks.
I never knew the least awkward way to do
feel
this.
like as part of our prep, we would have had like extra masks, extra robes,
Yeah, that's fine.
maybe some
No,
flyers.
thank
Yeah, we should have given the kid a mask.
Yeah. Do you want this boy?
Make
Also,
Wear it or else will kill you.
I
So-
kind of made it up on the spot, but can we have like basically a bunch of fake testimony from all of the higher ups in town that have basically just said they've seen owls?
Yeah. Oh, so what, from Tai Cheng, you mean, or from?
Yeah, from Tai Cheng.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
You can 100% do that. Oh. Cool. Right. So jumping back in. So yeah. So the so the I think as the commercial break ends, Bud Light advert disappears from screen. We immediately sort of bump into the inside of the cart. And I think it is as you guys are realising that you guys are being wheeled up essentially to the police station. Any plans being hatched inside as this is happening?
Yeah, I thought you said this was going well. There's a lot of guards out
I
there.
thought it was. Blame Wiz. She gave me a wink.
So you walked back to join the carriage, or are you still out with the guard who's leading you?
I think I'm gonna stay with him.
Okay. So yeah, he marches up. And he says, let me grab a dice. Okay, yeah, he says, I'll need you to come inside. They can wait out here. But you see, he sort of he as he says that he says head on through the front door. I'll join you in a moment. And he walks over to a group of guards who are stood off to the side of the door.
Okay. I'll say to him, let me just get the written testimony, and then I'll be with you in a second.
Okay, he nods and says, "Okay, I'll meet you inside." And you see he walks over to the group, and you can see as you're walking back over the cart, he mutters some words to them, and then three of the guards begin walking over towards where the caravan is.
Ruh-roh.
Okay. Critical question. Obviously, I cast the spells, but then I wouldn't have been doing anything for that hour. Would that have counted as a short rest?
And it hasn't been an hour since you cast your dancing lights.
Yeah, but that's a cantrip. That's fine.
Okay.
Or does travelling not count as a?
No, I don't think while you're
Okay.
traveling you can. I think you have to stop and take a break for it to be a short rest. So no, I'm going to rule that's not a short rest.
Okay.
We suddenly sleep.
I was thinking I could. Otherwise, I'd cast invisibility on both of you. But I can't do it.
I'm currently trying to get into the little flap thing. that Dragon's in.
So roll,
Covers his leg.
everybody inside the caravan roll perception for me.
Ooh. 17.
16.
Crit.
Crit. Okay,
Hell,
so
we are perceptive.
so Run,
We're very
you
unalert.
in particular noticed you were always going to see the guards walking towards it, but you see as soon as you see the man that Weiss has been talking to speaks to the guards and then gestures in your direction, and three of them begin walking your way. You've got quite a lot of time because you noticed it so quickly. But what's the plan?
I say there's three coming. They're coming towards us. We're being dragged to a place with lots of guards. We need to come up with a plan quickly. I'm keeping my mask on. Din, mask on. Yeah, look, you talk.
You hear from
Regards.
underneath the floorboards. I need a mask.
You shut. Maybe he does need him.
You need to shut up.
You just stay in there. Don't make a sound. Don't do anything.
Don't make him get the belt.
Yikes. Just stay quiet. If they find you, we'll have bigger issues anyway. So you stay quiet then too. Just keep the mask on. Yeah, look, you'll talk to them. You tell them about owls.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I will also.
So is at this point Weiss reaches the caravan. So Weiss, you return just to see as you hear the final part of that plan.
Okay. I'm
Is
like,
it still going well?
yeah, so. Could go either way. Yeah, just play it cool. I gather up the paperwork, the scrolls that we've got, the testimony, and then I head back the other way, follow the guard into the building.
Okay. So in advance of that, let's roll. So who created these papers? Who would be the one? Are these sort of forgeries? How did you create these?
I guess I probably would, given the language proficiencies.
I guess we would have actually had like everybody in town actually just write their like fake testimony down.
Yeah, true, I suppose. Well, that's the thing. I feel like most of them probably can't write.
Yeah, so sort of under your guidance. So whoever's got the best out of the two of you, let's roll a deception and let's see, so you know in advance how
I'm
convincing.
proficient in deception.
I want to see, and I want.
But okay, yeah, I've got +6.
So just so we know in advance of you going in, so you already know in advance how convincing the actual papers are. So this is going to be for the actual construction of the papers.
Oh god, I'm rolling terribly. That's 9.
George, send these dice back, please.
I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna inspiration that one.
Okay.
Was that a 1? No, it was 11. I actually don't know because I knocked it over.
Just roll again then.
Yeah, reroll is fine.
12, I think.
Yeah.
Plus
No, that is it.
12 with the plus. Okay, so they're written by tribespeople. So like half of it's sort of like in very broken common.
Yeah.
And like some of it's completely illegible. I think you've probably got. So what I would say is you've probably got 2 very convincing sheets of paper.
Yeah.
One written by Charlie and one written by Shager.
Well,
And the rest of them aren't so convincing.
Wouldn't we have like in amongst them 3 actual valid testimonies though?
What do you mean? Sorry. So.
Well, we've got 3 people.
We have
Yeah,
actually
but
seen owls.
yeah, but these guys can't write.
Yeah, but somebody.
So
could have written it for them.
and then one from Yala. So you've got
Yeah.
three convincing ones, and then the rest of them are garbage.
Okay.
Can I forge nugs?
So I say with that. So you probably of the stack you've got, I'm going to say there's 20 of them total. Three of them are convincing. The rest of them not so much.
Okay.
Okay, cool. That's fine. So you scoop up the papers, and then so you're almost very quickly followed. So the 3 guards are probably about 10 paces behind you, and they actually stop fairly short. They don't actually come all the way up to the cart,
God bless
but
them.
you do see that like one of them stops. Then the second 2 break away from them and begin circling around behind the caravan. One of them stops behind you, and the remaining one keeps walking, and then the final one stops to the right of the caravan. So you've got one. So you've got the police station ahead of you, and then one to the left, right, and one behind.
Okay.
And they plant spears in the ground. They clearly got no interest in talking to you.
Oh, okay.
But they've just been instructed to encircle the caravan and keep an eye.
I'd happily stay with that and not talk to them.
Can I have a perception check real quick?
Yep.
16.
What are you looking for?
Plus, what's my perception? Plus nothing. 16.
Okay. So what are you looking for?
Compared to giant hyenas, how strong do these guys seem?
So they're like city guards. So they're just the generic guard stat block. So, so these 3 guys, you could take them, but the problem would be that they would slow you down to the point where the other 50
Endless
guys.
supply of these 3 guards.
Yeah. I'm not looking to kill them. I'm just wondering how easy it would be if we absolutely had to make a quick getaway.
Yeah, you could these 3 guys. You could overpower them quite simply. They're just regular guard stat blocks. So you could take them. The problem isn't the individual. The problem is if they slow you down enough that everybody else catches up.
Okay.
Cool. So yeah, we see. So at this point, you tramp over towards the front door of this large building. So this building's kept cleaner than the rest of the ones in the building. It's still not an ornate or nice looking building, but you see it's kept in fairly decent repair. You see that all of the windows on the ground floor have been like heavily boarded up and reinforced. The ones higher up seem like you can see that they have glass panes, but almost every other one's broken.
Yeah.
We're really in the fucking slums down here, aren't we?
But yeah, you see that he re-emerges from the front door and gestures for you to walk inside.
Yeah, I'll follow him.
Cool. So yeah, you follow him inside, and inside it's an approximation of like a police station, but you can see it's very sort of thrown together. There's a couple of simple cots to the side, with you can actually see sort of wounded guards are lying on the side with people tending to them. And then to the right, there's something resembling a reception desk, a sort of an uninterested looking woman in sort of oddly fine robes is sat at the desk. She glances up at you, but then upon sort of seeing you close, her eyes immediately just go back to her paper, seeing that you're already being escorted, and she wants no part of it. He leads you just past, right directly next to where her desk is. There's a door to her right side, and she leads you into a small office.
Yeah. I guess seeing like walking past the wounded soldiers or guards. I guess I'd just say I was under the impression that Southfell was a relatively peaceful place.
Lol.
Yeah, just roll a persuade for me, to see how much you get out of this guy.
That's a 9, so 16.
16. Okay. He says there's been some unrest. This many people crowded in this tightly. Tensions are bound to fray. We've had some unrest, but nothing that we can't handle. Roll insight for me.
13.
13. Okay. 13's enough that you know that he, upon mentioning it to you, he then very quickly corrects himself in that we've got control here.
Yeah.
You sense that maybe that's not 100% true.
Okay. I'll just be like, well, I'm glad good people like you are looking out for the town. I guess it's not a really good time to hear about the end of the world.
Yeah. And you guys still yelling out in the caravan. So you're like through the like wooden slats. Like it's very dark in here because you've got all the windows are boarded heavily, and you actually see from inside. When you hear doom, you look and you can see that they've been boarded from the outside and the inside as well. They've been sort of reinforced. Okay. The windows on the ground floor. You hear doom from the outside. He says, "Is there ever a good time?" And he leads you into this small room, aside where the reception desk is. Inside, you see a sort of like an older man slumped back in his chair, with stacks of paper either side of him. He's deep in one in front of him, which he screws up into a ball and throws into the corner of the room. As you do, you see that it lands atop a pile of similarly crumpled pieces of paper. And he looks up and says, "What business?" And the guard sort of shrinks back at this and says, "Visitors to the city, they have something they want to talk to you about." You see this, he shuffles out of the room. He sort of as he walks past you, he gives you a gentle nudge further into the room,
right.
And then disappears out the other side, and you hear the door click close behind him.
Okay. How did he address him? As captain?
He said he was taking you to the captain, and you don't need to roll any sort of perception to assess that this clearly is whoever he is, he's superior to the man who you were just talking to. Okay. And you would assume the captain, seeing as that's who he's told you to go into.
Okay. I'll say, sorry for taking up your time, Captain, but it's an urgent matter. My name is Ogul. I come from... I've recently passed through Taicheng and have been made aware of a dire situation happening down in the... what's it called? Nil's Rise.
Nil's Rise, yes.
Nil's Rise. It seems that a monster of potentially cataclysmic proportions is nesting in the mountain and seems to be making a move. I have witness testimony here gathered from the residents who claim to have seen him. and I thought that it was our duty to present these to you.
Okay, he's roll a persuade.
Well, that's a bit better. So 19. No,
19.
18.
18.
I can't math.
That's fine. Either way, it's the same. You see a look of concern in his face, and he just extends a hand out for you to hand him the papers. You're gonna the whole stack, or
Yeah,
are you gonna
whole stack.
the whole stack? Okay. Have you positioned and I'm
I
guessing.
put the better ones on top.
Okay. Yeah, he grabs them off you, and you see like he just sits in silence and reads them. Like he doesn't say a word.
Yeah.
He just sort of leaves you stood at the far end of his room as he looks down at the papers. You see that he has a simple, just like a candle to the side of him, and upon reading the first one, he pulls it in closer and squints at the handwriting. He flips across the second one and begins reading. And he says, Shager. Haven't heard that name in a while.
Ooh.
An old friend.
I'm like, do you know Shager? Obviously, he was one of the people interviewed.
Do you know Ogul?
Yeah.
Oh, cool, you've gotten smaller.
He says,
That's orcish too.
he says, I know he's banished. Old boy's still alive, eh? We'll need to investigate this further. He doesn't give, and then he says, you can go now. And he doesn't give you the papers back.
Like, very well. I don't know if I need to speak to you about this, Captain, but my troop requires. Well, I don't know if my troop requires permission or a license for us to perform in the town square. Is that you, or do I seek that somewhere else?
So he raises an eyebrow and leans back in his seat and says, kind of performance. And like, have you got your mask with you, or did you leave it in the van, or?
I probably left the mask in the van.
Okay, so you're just in sort of like robes then. And he says,
Yeah.
yeah. So he says, what kind of performance?
Just a reciting of stories.
Of the word doom.
Yes, just a reciting of stories about the monsters in the south.
Interpretive dance.
Okay,
Inductive dance, performative stoving.
A diss track about owls.
roll a persuade.
Why am I rolling so low? 6 plus 7, 11. No?
13.
13.
13. Okay, he says, you're welcome to stay in the town. This is military business. I don't need you stirring up panic in the town. You're welcome to stay, but you stir up trouble about this and you spread this word any further than these four walls, and you'll be escorted from the city or worse. Am I understood?
Warning received.
He says, okay, I'm busy. Out.
Okay, and I just out.
Alt.
Okay. So as you go to the other side of the door, you see that the man who walked you in was just the other side. Clearly, he'd been privy to the whole conversation. Like you sort of open the door, and you get the side of his face.
He falls in.
And he sort of takes a step back, and he says, "The tavern, you said."
The inn, the tavern, wherever we can stay.
He says, he says, down the road on the left. There's a place that you can stay. Don't cause any trouble.
Cool.
We'll hear about it.
Yeah. And then I go to high five him.
Roll a persuade.
What would that be? 16.
so I think because you go to high five him and he's sort of like don't cause any trouble and he's like going to like wave you. So yeah, I think you like his hand stays where he was waving, and he lets out an exacerbated sigh, and he just says, "Get out of my sight."
Leave.
Yeah, I guess I'll head outside and hope these guys are still there.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So you walk back outside and you see that. So when the door swings back open and briefly we're sort of like blinded by the light because we're in this sort of like really dingy guard station, all shuttered up, and we're briefly blinded by the outside light. And as Weiss's eyes sort of focus and we see outside in the caravan and where you guys have been left, what view are we presented to? You guys behaving yourselves?
Run is definitely inside.
Din's probably peering out. Just gives a little wave.
Roll a perception check, please, Din.
15.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, you see Weiss come back out. Weiss, do you sort of like gesture in any way as you're walking towards?
I like to think that as I'm approaching, everybody's like, Doom!
Yeah.
And I'm like, no Doom, no Doom.
Okay,
Stop with the doom.
Yeah, so Weiss sort of gestures as you're walking out for you to pipe down. I mean, you sort of look around and you see that behind Weiss that the guards emerge from the door, and he gives a nod to one of the guards, and they begin walking away round from where they've surrounded the cart. You see as one of them, as the one who is to the far back, sort of passes your view. He casts a fairly dirty look at you, but as he sort of disappears past you, you see past him in an alleyway, poking his head around the corner, is the small urchin boy.
We need to silence him.
Yeah.
Sort of peering out curiously. And then you sort of see, he sees you looking and his head disappears back behind. But then briefly afterwards, you sort of see the heads of three small children peer out and then quickly pull their head back in as they see you looking in their direction.
Oh my god, a 3-headed boy.
There's only one thing worse than a rapist. A child. No.
Okay, cool. So do you take any notice of it, or? Okay, cool. Sweet. So yeah, so so you guys are just gonna head on down to where the tavern is.
Actually, sorry, I'd probably say to Run. I really scared that little boy, and I sort of gesture.
Yeah. So
maybe Run's clever enough to think about
yeah,
this.
Run, roll a persuade. Sorry, a perception rather.
God.
Cock roll it again.
Wow. That's 4.
Okay,
We're
no, so,
fucking idiots.
so yeah, so you don't see anything.
We just laugh.
The
3-headed boy.
yeah. So yeah, the kids have already disappeared. So upon Run upon Din making eye contact with them, they sort of disappeared. Yeah, do you want to roll a perception, or the other two you may as well roll a perception just see if you guys notice as well. It's going to be higher for you because you're not looking in the same direction, but on the off chance.
Oh, good roll.
Ooh.
I think.
17.
Unnatural 20.
Okay. So yeah, Weiss, you notice this with an unnatural 20 walking back towards the cart. You see Din looking out that direction, and you get a glance of both sets of children. So you sort of see the boy from earlier. I don't know if you would see or recognise him, but you see him peer around. You probably do recognise him because he's screaming earlier. But then you notice actually, so Weiss probably poignantly for you.
Oh no.
You see urchin children from the town of Southfell. You don't recognise any of them, but there's a painful familiarity in them, and you more than anybody else would sort of understand if they're still together, and if they're still gathered.
Yeah.
That this boy is one of the urchins, and there are many more, likely of his ilk. You don't know if they're still in the same place, but.
Okay.
You know that that one boy, that likely that more than that one boy is now afraid of the coming of giant spiders.
Oops.
Okay.
The cock thickens.
I want to ask him a question, but I feel like it's probably best to just leave it. So, yeah.
Okay, just onto the tavern.
Yeah. I guess on the way, I'd let everybody know what happened
Okay.
with the captain. Just be like, yeah, let's just play it down. We'll act more as like the reclusive, religious people.
Well, I just want to say, actually, we've reread the text. And it's just like a mild inconvenience.
Just means some more spiders
Yeah,
in the
it's
fields.
I mean, it's not nice, but it's not
Yeah.
doom.
Yeah.
You know, we'll row back a bit.
Put some salt in the doorway, you're fine.
We have essentially created an official like state of emergency.
We wake up in the morning, the cat is like burning, everyone running around. Like,
Yeah.
Oops.
So yeah, so you guys will. So
Matt buys 50 rolls of toilet paper.
so can I get one more perception from everybody as you guys make your way over to the tavern?
13.
19.
Crit.
17.
Okay. So Yarmut, you'd be the one to see it with the highest roll. So you notice you're sort of looking back. You look back out the window, out the sort of back window between the two dragons.
Yeah.
Back towards the police station, maybe letting out a sigh of relief, having narrowly escaped it. But you notice from down the side of the police station, two men on horses at very high pace come galloping out of the side and heading towards the southern gate.
Oh.
So how long did it take us to get here?
3 days?
2 days,
Oh, okay.
roughly.
2 days. Okay. So they're on fast horses. We've got like 2-day round trip, maybe 3 days before they come back and, well,
And
Oh, right, they're going to.
they're going to find out
Gotcha.
from Cheng, we assume.
yeah, to investigate.
Yeah.
So it might be more than 3 days if they.
They might
stay
get
there.
killed.
But presumably,
So did you? I'm assuming when you wrote the letters, you briefed the people at Tai
Yeah,
Chang
yeah.
as well. So
so
there's going to be some off-screen rolls
Yeah,
to
basically.
figure out what happens
They'll know
down
the
there.
story.
It's basically out of our hands whether they're sort of like, okay, this is an issue, or maybe this is a later issue, or they're con people.
Let's just be gone by 3 days.
Yeah.
This vacation lasts no longer than 3.
Yeah.
We don't need long though, do we? We just need to
Yeah, exactly.
trade some stuff and then get you healed, and then we can go out the other exit.
Nice. Okay.
Get
Yeah,
the
so-
liver fixed up.
So you head on to the tavern. I haven't got a name for the Southfell Tavern. Open to suggestions. Yell out a name for a. So this is very much a like leaky tap type place. You approach a very rundown tavern. Like the building as you get close to it, you sort of hear the merriment of what's clearly a very active tavern.
The dripping mast.
The South fell asleep.
I was going to say the South fell over.
So, well, I was actually so that's going to be it because I was going to say the way I was going to describe it is that this tavern is. Well, as you go close to it, the whole building is clearly sort of tipped to one side, but where all the buildings are so tightly packed in, it's just leaning on the building that's to its left, and which is a sort of like very stout building with a flat roof to its side. Some cracks where the two buildings kiss in the centre, but it's sort of just being held aloft by its neighbour. So yeah, I'll go the South Fell Over Tavern. So there's. So yeah, it's sort of like painted above the door, like it hasn't got any like a swinging sign or anything, just in like white paint on the top of the door frame. You see it's probably called it was previously called the South Fell something else, and somebody has like painted over whatever the name of it was before and wrote over on it to the side of the word South Fell.
Compared to our wyvern tent, this is
It could
pretty
be
shitty.
It could be a tavern and you just lost some of the letters with the VER in the middle
Yeah.
and O.
Turn.
Yeah, so you've got an idea what it was called previously, but it's the sign above the door now says the South Fell Over.
Okay.
Cool. Let's go in, get some Bud Light, go to bed.
Yeah. Bud Light and the Dominoes.
Yeah.
Classic night. Southfell. Let's kill ourselves to sleep, boys.
So do we want some stereotypical D&D tavern hijinks? Do we want to role play and actually see what you guys do in there, or do we want to just sleep the night tomorrow?
Should we just finish with some hijinks?
I think so.
Why not?
Yeah.
Tavern time, baby.
So-
Who's in the tavern?
So yeah, so this is giving me flashbacks to the first game you ran for us,
God.
Steve.
I'll have a pint of
We had this great
Doom.
mission we were supposed to be doing, and we just spent like 5 hours in the.
Fancy a drink?
Five
of
real life
pain.
hours in the tavern.
And you were just like, you wiped out half the dungeon because they just came to have a drink.
That was
What do
so
eventually
funny.
they're just going to stop coming.
But they never did.
They never did.
Okay,
So tell me, I want to roll perception. Who's in the tavern?
okay. So I think initially, so you sort of from the outside, you can hear it's clearly a bustling tavern. You hear the shouts and singing from inside, and the clacking of flagons and things like that.
Are we still
and-
wearing our masks? Well, I guess we have to, don't we?
Yeah.
Of course.
So I think
So
like.
we got to tone down the fear, but while wearing a mask.
So I think you sort of hear this merriment, and then you swing the door open and take a step inside, and then dead silence as all the heads in the room turn round to see these strange. So has everybody got their masks on, or have you?
It would look weird if you guys took them off, wouldn't it? So
I mean, I probably have my mask off just to talk to people.
Okay, so you're sort of leading the group, but you're
Maybe you have it on and then you take it off when you talk. So
Yeah, like I'll walk in and be like,
it still looks like the default is to have it on.
Yeah.
it's like, look, I'm a human. Well, half elf thingy.
okay. So yeah, the room falls silent the second you walk in. Like all of the merriment stops simultaneously as every head in the room turns to face your way. We see. You say, are you taking your mask off?
Yeah, when everybody looks at us, I just take the mask off.
You
Shine everybody a smile. And yeah, head over to.
and just try and play it off.
Yeah.
Okay. Just roll a performance, I guess, for the smile to see.
What was it? +4 for that, so 16.
16. Okay. So initially the silence falls over the room, but what was your perception? Did you want to roll perception? Did you roll your
Yeah,
perception?
I got 19.
19. Okay. So yeah, the room falls silent, but as you sort of look around inside this place, you're the weirdest people in here, but not by that wide a margin.
I see.
There's all sorts of misfits.
They're like a
and,
rival
That
cult
feels
we're gonna have a
much like
dance
real
battle
life for
with.
me.
Yeah.
Who's the most misfit besides us?
Well, I'd probably say that in the corner, like you can actually see. Like, now you're inside. There's some like clumsy accordion music being played. I mean, you can see sort of almost inhumanly so is craned over this man in the corner who's sat on top of. He's got his feet on a stool and his butt on a table. I mean, he's just gently playing like strangely haunting accordion music in the corner. Nobody sat that close to him, but he's sort of like a hood covers his face, but you can see the bottom of like a wiry grey beard poking out from underneath as these like bony skeletal like hands slowly play menacing accordion music in the corner.
A skeleton, you say? I am a necromancer. So.
He's probably the weirdest, but you've got your choice. There's all sorts. But everybody in here is more or less. There's a few gnomes, not many. Like two gnomes who are tucked away in a corner. There's one table in the corner that's like lower than the rest of them, and you can see there's a couple of gnomes and a dwarf sat there. But everybody else in here, they all sort of look like fairly poverty-stricken humans. Is the vast majority of people in here, and varying degrees. Most of them look somewhere between sad. Some of them look like they don't want to be approached. They're sort of like. Look like these thugs of some sort of local gang. They're probably in one corner and have quite a lot of they've clearly got their part of the inn in the far corner closest to the bar.
So it's the spoons.
Yeah, like a spoons. Yeah.
So
Right down to the haunting accordion.
how many gnomes are there? You said 2?
2 and a dwarf.
Do the gnomes look like they want to be approached?
One of them's face down on the table, and then the other one looks like he's not far behind him. The dwarf is sort of sat chugging beers, and you can.
Well! I'm about to drink this motherfucker under the table. I'm going right over to sit down at the table and be like, what? Oh, what news from Afa? I'll take it off as I sit down. So it's obvious. I mean, my stature makes it pretty obvious that I'm a gnome anyway, but...
Okay. Anybody else going over the room, or is y'all just weaving away off by herself in the crowd?
Well, we kind of have to stand back.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
Otherwise it's a bit awkward.
Yeah. I guess find a quiet corner and...
Yeah.
Don't
So
make eye
somebody needs to
contact
get
with
rooms
the
for
weirdo.
us too. Or a room.
And so you say, what news from Afa?
Yeah.
So the one who's the one who looks like he's almost out as you say it, topples backwards off his chair. You see, you don't get a response. But there's one sort of, he's got sort of like purplish hair, with his face down on the table, and he sort of grumbles, and it's the words sort of bubble slightly in the mead that he's spilt underneath his face, but he says, nobody left.
No.
There is nobody left? Or nobody has left?
Nobody left. As in, nobody left and there's still everyone there, or there's no one in Afa?
Everybody's left. Nobody wanted to stay. Too dangerous.
What happened?
The grey men, they're coming. Everybody fled.
Dave, what did we do?
He just like swats his hand generally in your direction, and his voice turns into snoring.
I see. Okay.
Different game.
I guess I'll turn to the dwarf and be like,
Oh no.
"Are you their companion?"
He says he grins and says, "I was tonight." And he sort of like he like puts one foot over and just like slowly nudges the one who's face down on the table, and he slumps onto the floor next to his friend. And he like pats the stool where he once was and says, "Drink. First one's on me." And he places it down. It places the flagon down in front of you.
All right, I want to drain it in one.
Okay, yeah. Well, actually, as D&D action rules state, you can just do that. Rules as written, you can.
Perfect.
But you'll have to roll a Constitution to see what the effects of it are. But you can just. All D&D adventurers by default, it says in the actions you can take in combat in 6 seconds. You can make you can down a drink. But you have to roll a Constitution to see what the impact of that is.
Okay. Do I get a bonus thanks to Nux Liver?
We'll see.
All right. Let's see.
Roll twice.
17 plus 2.
17 plus 2. Okay.
Yeah, my Constitution is actually plus 2 already. So.
Okay. So yeah, you sort of like down in one and slam it on the table. And like you just stone face it. Like you probably there's a slight sinking feeling in so much as there's the familiar thing that it was just like water to you. There was nothing. So you don't really sort of feel any sort of head rush. It was like you just downed a flagon of water.
Okay. He's done so. So where are you from?
I says all over the place. Usually Coppertown, sometimes here. I spend a lot of time, and he like pats the stool underneath him, right here.
So, what do you do for trade?
Whatever I can to make ends meet. There's always somebody who needs something doing.
Have you ever heard the legend of Nuck?
He shakes his head. He said, "That I've not."
Well, let me tell you a tale. Why don't you get us another couple drinks and I'll spin you a yarn about the fastest dwarf in the land.
He scoffs and says, "First one was on me," and he pushes his empty flagon towards you. He says, "Second one's on you."
How much are drinks?
So we've established before there's no sort of money in
true.
trade. You just have to find something to trade. So whatever you've got in the pockets, you have to just go see if the bartender will take it in exchange for a drink.
Okay. I'll go up with 2 flagons to fill up and offer a crocodile tooth.
Okay. Roll a persuade. See how many drinks that gets you.
Ooh. 7 plus... Yeah, just 7.
Okay.
Oh, no, sorry, plus 1.
8.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you reach it. So the bar is higher than your head. So like we sort of get it from the bar to the Garpies with these 2 hands and 2 blackened and then a single tooth, and he says, "Fill her up." And like you just sort of see, like you can't really see, you haven't got eye line with the bartender, but you just sort of see this hand push the tooth back. And he says, "Afraid we don't take teeth for payment here." And like you look off to the side, and an old wiry looking man grins at you with like an almost empty smile and says, "Unfortunately."
Yeah, I guess if you motion to me, I'll look to him and I'll be like, I've got quite a lot of these large kenku feathers. Artisan, they'll trade well.
Okay, roll a persuade.
So persuasion is 7, so 16.
Okay. He says 2 per.
2 per drink. I should have shit tons of those. So I'll be like, how many for a room for 4?
Feathers will get you drinks. They won't get you a room.
What will get us a room?
What you got?
What do I have? See, we've got like very cheap stuff and then very expensive stuff.
Yeah. No in between. What about you two? Anything?
Are you guys just looming this entire time? This is
Just looming.
I'm just trying to think.
I've got 7 days of meat, but I don't know when from.
Yeah, I think that was 7 days of vulture meat.
Yeah, that's no good. Strike that out. That's gone.
I'm trying to think.
I've got a potion of healing, apparently.
You could trade in that.
I think
That's like
I'd rather-
multiple times what a room should be.
yeah, I'd rather sleep with the fucking carriage.
We could just leave in the carriage.
Yeah, you've got
Wooden
you've got,
shield. Wooden shield.
I think that's a makeshift wooden shield. Actually, did you get a proper? No, you might have got a proper shield.
I've got a proper shield as well.
I think you got the one shield that like Nuck made for you out of bark, which I don't think would be.
And then you
worth
borrowed Whis' shield, but you can have Whis' shield.
Yeah, like I've got a golden dragon necklace, but no way I'm giving that dude this for a fucking room.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So we've got additional robes. We've got spider masks. We've got like alchemical supplies and like spell crafting supplies.
Yep.
So
None of that is worth a room, though.
No, why don't we just sleep in the?
yeah, but there might be like
could-
smaller components and things.
You can
could
just sleep in the
offer him
caravan.
tails
Has like simple cots in it for you
Yeah.
to sleep. Or I say you can sleep in the same arrangement you did last night on benches on the floor.
Yeah,
You've
it's
got-
mostly on
also
you two because
safer.
for me, I feel like I can be comfortable anywhere. I'm so small.
It's also a whole lot safer. Oh look, someone sees an unattended caravan.
Yeah, true,
They
true.
bust in, and suddenly a dragon's in there.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Or,
That's not
or someone wants you out of town, you're already in the caravan. Off you go.
Off you
Yeah.
go.
Actually, you know what? You guys can sleep out there. I want a room.
I'll sleep with you guys. I'll stay in the caravan. I mean, unless I get blackout, but I don't. I'm pretty confident about my ability to underdrink this dwarf or outdrink this dwarf.
I just can't think of anything that'll be like the right word. I guess I'll just say like we've got these miscellaneous supplies. Is there anything in amongst that you would find valuable enough?
So have you got like the vials from Maril?
Yeah, so there's probably like some poisons and then some alchemical reagents, and then maybe a couple of like different components for spell crafting and things like that. But
You could offer doing a spell.
So he picks up one of the bottles, which is
Sure.
sort
Larger penis for now.
of like a poison reagent, and he says, "What's this one?"
that is, I guess I'd lean in close to him because I don't know what the rules are on selling poison.
Penis enhancement.
Just sort of like whisper it to him and sort of that's a pretty powerful poison. You know, it's not going to kill any massive monsters, but it'll make someone sick for a good week.
He says, "That'll get you a room." And he says, "That'll get you a room," and as he does it, he's like, he's already put it under the bar.
Yeah. Okay. And I guess I'll say, if you're in that line of work, is there any work going?
He he lowers his voice and says, "Not from me, but I can do an introduction if you want to meet somebody. And there's always people looking for work around here." And he half glances over to the group of thugs in the corner that I mentioned earlier.
Please don't get us involved in the Aryan Brotherhood of South Hell.
I'll just be like,
On a 2-day trip.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, we're only in town for a day, so if there's something low risk, then let me know. If not, don't worry.
It's all risk around here, I'm afraid, friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, he slides up. So how many drinks are you grabbing?
So I'll get everybody a drink and 2 straws.
Nice. Are you grabbing one for Yarlet's dwarf buddy as well?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so yeah, he slides out 5 flagons onto the top. How are you going to drink that? Oh yes, it's straws.
A masked brute with a straw.
Is it a swirly straw?
So no, it's just like it's like a reed or like you get like a
bamboo
like a
shoot.
bamboo
Yeah.
stick like to suck it through.
Is that going to draw attention?
You got these 2 giant hulking guys in spider masks.
Pinky's out.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
think
yeah,
we take these out to the caravan.
Can I have mine in a chalice, please?
can you
Don't you, Stella?
everybody roll perception for me, please.
Uh-oh. Ooh.
6.
18.
We are no longer perceptive.
On me. 13.
So 18, Yarlet. So you're sort of like looking across at these two dragonborns with their sippy cups, like chugging the beer, and you sort of notice a few of the thugs over in the corner have started to take a notice, and one of them like nudges and gestures in the direction of the two large figures who are with you.
Let's go. Well, we didn't
Yeah,
know,
why didn't you two go to watch the goods?
Don't like it here anyway. I go towards the caravan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys try out, but you sort as you're walking towards the door, like anybody who's sort of vaguely in your way, like the Red Sea parts in order to these two huge figures want to wander out of the bar. Okay. So then let's deal with you and your dwarf friend first. So you head back over and find it.
Yeah.
So yeah, with a big grin, he scoops up the flagon, and he holds it out for you to.
Cheers.
Nice.
Yeah, well, they probably wouldn't say cheers, but what would be the traditional greeting in
Hurrah!
Tai
Do you
Chang?
know Dwarvish?
Huzzah!
No, actually, I don't.
Okay.
You just dab it.
So he says something in that you recognise as Dwarvish, but you don't understand.
Yeah, I just answer in Gnomish because I assume he doesn't speak Gnomish.
What are you saying in Gnomish?
So much
I'm just gonna say, let's fucking drink.
Wait.
Yeah. So in Gnomish, he responds, "Fuck yeah."
Be a double.
Cool.
So I downed it at 1.
Cool. You gonna make any conversation with this guy?
Yes. So I guess I'll wait. Is he like chugging it or is he nursing it?
He's just drinking it. He's not. He's neither.
Okay,
He's
just normal drinking.
yeah. He's not here for a competition. Like he saw you trying to be. You get the sense this guy isn't. He's had his competition for the night and he's won.
Yeah, fair.
He's not really interested in competing with another.
That's
with
fair.
another gnome.
So yeah, when you let him have a couple drinks and then I'll be like, so how long have you been in town for this time?
Few days.
Seems like it's pretty rough around here. The last time I passed through South Pal, it was a lot nicer.
It says tense time, and he looks down at the two gnomes who are like now slumped against one another. One's got his head on the other shoulder, and it sounds like it's a bit rougher down south.
That's fair. Have you heard anything about Alpha? I've been away for a while.
He like laughs and says, "How long have you been gone?"
It's a couple years.
You've been under a rock.
Kind of. Quite literally.
He scoffs and says, "So you haven't heard?"
No, what happened?
He says, "Quindal, it's gone."
Well, I see. What happened? We were planning to travel there next.
He says, "Call them." We've been calling them the Grey Men, undead of some kind. Wiped out the whole town. I wouldn't take the Western Road if I were you.
Well then.
So yeah, and Bunky Troll's words sort of echo in the back of your mind.
Yeah, I think fall into what I would consider to be now like because y'all it's like thinking in the background. Mostly just move on to like small talk while we drink.
Yeah, you see, you sort of like go into idle. You're not really paying much attention to the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Like he tells you some innocuous details about his life. Like this guy's, it's not hard because you're not hard to ignore because he spends a lot of time just talking about himself.
Yeah.
Nothing really of any value either. He's clearly just a bit of a wanderer.
Yeah.
Seems to spend all of his time in taverns. So anytime he's not in tavern, he's scraping up more money, small money to get himself back into taverns.
Fair. Okay.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll leave you there.
Yeah, I think so.
So we see you when you're making use of your room.
Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna go and sleep on a proper bed for once in like who knows how many years.
Is that all?
Get busy cooming, get busy dying.
I ordered Domino's.
Yeah.
Okay, so is this? So does Wheat actually sort of like? Is this sort of like?
Reception. What is it for porn around here? How many feathers for porn?
So do you hold this moment sort of in some reverence then? Like, do we sort of see we stood looking at? Well, like you get upstairs and there is actually like a comfortable bed.
Yeah.
Like even in Tai Cheng, even though you were held fairly high, they didn't really have anything resembling that. Like, comfort is probably something that. When was the last time? So maybe this is time for a DM-led inspiration scene. When was the last time Weiss had any sort of comfort?
Well, it would have literally been because she was on the streets when she is in thingy. Like maybe we shouldn't do one because it's already 10 past. But yeah, it would have been just back when so when her dad was like killed in front of her. That like prior to that would have been the last time. So when she was a child,
Right.
and the rest of her time she would have just been on the streets.
Nice.
And then fled down to Tai Cheng.
Nice. So we sort of see like a much younger Weiss. Probably like you settle down into a bed, and we sort of like the screen sort of wipes and distorts, and we see a much younger Weiss lying comfortably in a bed, sort of surrounded by toys and the adornments of wealthy life.
Yeah.
And then we hear the thump at the door, and with that the screen goes to black, and white writing reading 3 C's Roads, and with that we end the episode.
Doom 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 doom
We now need a doom metal cover of the 3 C's tune, please.
Don't know if I've got closing notes on here. Nice, good game, guys.
Yes,
Fantastic.
very good.
Cool.
Is your full name Weiss Witherspoon?
Yes.
That's horrific.
Fuck off.
Oh, glad to be back.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's great.
Let's not wait 3 years to the next one.
Yeah.
Well, more than that.
When can you